Hey, before I kick off the podcast, I just want to shout out Next Door Clothing. Next Door, a clothing brand based out of Bondi in Sydney. They're making really nice jeans and shirts and hats. So go and check out their full range at nextdoorsydney.com. They're also artists, so you can go and check out a range of art. They put on rad parties, and I love what they're doing. So nextdoorsydney.com for the full range. Hey, it's Shan here. This week, I speak with one of my personal favourite Australian skateboarders, a skateboarder that I feel is very underrated. He's been around for a long time. I think we worked it out. He's been skating for probably 35 years plus. It's Mr. Darren Kaehne. So those of you that have been around the Australian skate scene for any given amount of time, specifically the Sydney area, you'll know who Darren is. Darren's never been one to chase the spotlight. He's reluctant, doesn't care, just wants to skate. He was reluctant to be on the podcast. We'd been communicating about it loosely for about a year, and I was stoked when he came around to the idea of doing it because I just find him really interesting. He's a good dude. He's like a sensitive dude. He really cares about life, about the people in his life, about himself. You know, he takes care of himself. He's doing yoga regularly, eats well, lots of time with the family. But his innate gratitude for his life and his lifestyle really sort of stood out for me in this episode. He takes nothing for granted. It's so nice. We had a good day. We're in the Northern Beaches up in the Mona Vale area for the day. Recorded at his house and then spent the afternoon at the skate park at Mona Vale with the intention of maybe stacking a couple of clips for like a little promo for the episode. In my mind, I thought I might get like 15, 20 seconds worth of footage and I'll make a little promo edit. Well, in the space of about 2.5 hours of skating, Darren stacked almost like 3 minutes of clips, like good clips. I know it's skate park footage, but it's like good skate park footage. You know, I did all the filming. And I was just blown away just watching his process and how much he just really still goes after it and just wants it. But also his level of fitness, you know, skate fitness is right up there. Just a product of good living, you know, 47 years old and easily like the best skater at the skate park. And we talk about that. It's just such a trip. So talk about his history in Australian skating, some funny stories from the past. You know, his time skating for Australian brand Amnesia skateboards, also Criminal skateboards, just rad Australian brands from the, the 90s and beyond. You know, he's got some sponsors. He's had a bit of exposure in skate mags over the years. He's travelled a bit, skateboarding, and just super casual about it. It's really cool. It's a good episode. I don't know what else to say except I just want you to sit back and listen. He kind of made out like he was all nervous like the whole time, but he doesn't really come across like that at all. It's just a nice, relaxed, long conversation, and you get to know the guy, and he's a good guy to know. And you know, he said to me, he goes, "Oh, why do you dedicate all your episodes to your kids, Clementine and Otis?" And I'm like, because when they're adults, I want them to go back and I want them to listen to stories of good humans such as Darren Kaehne. So thanks, Darren, and enjoy the episode, everyone. Terrible happy talks. Terrible happy talks.
Yeah, good to be here, man. Whoa. Dude, I'm
Submissive dominant lifestyle. 3, 2, 1. All right, let's do this.
This is weird. Just talking like this with the headphones and the microphone. And
Why? Why do you find it weird?
It's not. I mean, because I've never done it before, probably. Yeah. You know, and it just like it's resonating in your head, and you hear your own voice, and
it's a trip.
It's different. I'm a little, like I said, must be a little bit nervous.
You've done a little bit of media though over the years.
Yeah, but not really naturally. You know, like I'm not a natural like conversationalist or
Really?
like I don't know, like maybe, but in this circumstance it's different.
Would you describe yourself as introverted?
Probably a little bit, and if I come across as not introverted, it's probably like an act. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
You have to work for it.
Yeah, I think I'm naturally kind of like that.
Social.
Yeah.
You got heaps of friends.
I've got heaps of friends. I seem to be, I don't know. Yeah.
But you're not
affable bloke, over here.
So, like, let's say you're at a party.
Yeah.
Like, you're more in the background or the centre of attention kind of?
Nah, I'm in the corner. One-on-one conversations with someone, I'll pick someone out and, I'm definitely not, I hate nothing more than actually, like, a group setting, like a conversation in a group.
Yeah.
Like, I just can't stand it.
Does it give you anxiety?
Oh, it's not anxiety. I'm just like, I don't want to butt in. I don't want to be talking to 5, 6 people at the same time. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a one-on-one kind of guy, Like, what are you? Like, what are you?
Yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. Like, I get social anxiety.
Yeah.
For me, like weddings.
Yeah.
I find weddings, funerals, whatever. Like, that's a high anxiety sort of location for me.
Yeah. Well, funerals are gnarly because you're kind of there. Like, it's a sad occasion. Like you're already put off guard by the fact that everyone's there, like commemorating someone that's gone. Like
it's heavy.
That is gnarly.
But it's like. I'm like you, like I like to give people that time one-on-one, and if it's like a lot of people around, like I don't know, I get really tired.
Yeah.
And like, for example, I seen you down at Belco Bowl Jam last year or the year before. No, it was last year.
Yeah, I've been 3-4 years in a row.
Yeah. And, as much as I love watching the skating and stuff, actually I have social anxiety in those situations too. Even though I'm around a bunch of skaters and stuff, it's like I get overwhelmed. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's mostly unwarranted,
Oh, 100%.
Like, you don't have to be. Like, no one's thinking whatever you're thinking, but I understand what you're saying for sure.
Are your parents like that?
My mum's pretty quiet, really, and my dad's kind of, I don't know, they are kind of, keeps themselves. They're not really, like, socialites. Never really had, like, big parties and whatnot. So, you could say that for sure.
What's their background? Are they...
My parents' background? They, they're Aussie.
Like white Australian type?
Yeah, Aussie white, kind of Caucasian, Australian. Like, they're from Adelaide.
Okay.
I was born in Adelaide.
Were you?
Yeah.
No way. I always thought you were a full Sydney guy.
Well, yeah, I feel like I am, because I didn't do any real growing up in Adelaide. Like, I moved when I was very young, so...
Yeah, how old were you?
I was 8 when we moved here.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so straight to the Northern Beaches, went straight to Manly, stayed there for a while, and moved to a place in Beacon Hill. So I've been on the beaches, call it my whole life, like good 40 years almost. So that's putting an age on us,
So you were like 7?
Yeah, I was 8 years old when I moved. Yeah, I remember.
Old.
Yeah.
Wow. What brought your family over from Adelaide?
My old man got a job transfer. He was working in the oil kind of game, like for Caltex. He worked for Caltex. So I don't know if it's Golden Fleece or something back in the day, but he came for an 18-month stint over in Sydney, and I remember just being like, I was psyched. I was like, like Sydney sounded like the big smoke coming from Adelaide, though.
So it wasn't like a traumatic move where you had to move away from friends and family?
No, not for me. Like, I don't know, I was only young, like 8 years old. You don't really know, like, how set up you are at that age, So, I don't know. I was looking forward to the opportunity. I remember my dad put it to us, like, we're gonna move to Sydney, like, who's keen, who's in? And I was like, I'm down. My dad was like, he's down. And my mum, my brother were a bit, like, apprehensive about it. So,
okay.
But been here ever since. But my parents, they moved back recently, but they live on Kangaroo Island now. So
Kangaroo Island?
Yeah.
No way, dude.
Yeah.
How come? Like what?
It's just my old man's favourite spot, I think.
Off the grid?
No, I mean they're in the town there. It's only a little town called Kingscote, but coincidentally they live right next door to a skate park. Like literally next door. You could throw a stone from their place and hit the skate park, and it's actually really fun.
Is it? No.
Yeah. So when we go down there, like I spend a lot of time. See you later, guys. We're just gonna go next door and have a skate. Like it's pretty cool.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, and actually, it's right next door to one of the original skate parks, one of the first skate parks in the country, actually.
On Kangaroo Island?
Yeah. It's like a snake run, but it's like a banked wall. It's not really smooth transition.
Yeah,
so,
right.
Yeah, so I think it's dated back to like the late 70s, early 80s kind of thing. I don't know exactly.
How random's that?
Yeah. So it's Albany, West Hobart, and Kingscote. They're like the original 3 skate parks in the country.
No way. How do you know that?
Because I looked into it, and I remember I went there when I was about 12.
Yeah.
And it'd already been there for a while. So that's what, 88. I was there, and I'm like, well, I don't know. I just got curious. Like, when was this like made? You know, my old man found the guy that built it, the original the concreter.
Yeah. What do you mean he found him?
Well, yeah, it's a small place,
just
so
came across him.
Yeah, just kind of figured it out.
He wasn't like looking for that guy.
He wasn't out there searching, like knocking on the doors, but it's a small community, and everyone knows one another, and he just found it out, figured it out.
Are you a skate nerd?
Yes.
Like nerd trivia?
Very
skate
much
nerd
so.
trivia?
Yes, very, very much so.
Dude.
What made you say that?
just got a feeling.
Yeah. No, I'm a student of skateboarding for sure.
Wow.
Like, I'm very curious.
I can tell.
Back in when you're young, there's not that much to take in. Nowadays, there's a lot of content. So
Too much?
Back then,
do you think?
probably, yeah,
You
for
reckon?
sure. Yeah, I mean, look at it, Instagram, like all day, every day. It's something new on YouTube when you wake up every single day. You know, remember back when we were kids, it was like there'd be a new video once every 3 months, maybe max. You know, the power video will come out once a year, and you'd just flog it to death. You'd watch it 1,000 times.
Yeah.
You know, I was saying like the other day, I'm like, I think I've seen that part 1,000 times. You
Which
know what
part?
I mean? I don't know, probably Nardis or something.
Okay.
Streets of Fire. That was my favourite part back in the
Jeff
day.
Kendall?
Man, yeah, like of course,
Mind-blowing.
yeah.
But yeah,
It's sick.
I was actually thinking about him the other day because everyone does talk about Nardis, and I was watching the 9 Club with Jason Lee and Chris Pastras recently, just the other day, and they were talking about Streets of Fire.
Right.
But they only talk about Nardis's part, you know.
Because it's
Does a
incredible.
ride.
Yeah. It's
Always onto
incredible.
the hydrant, spins around, like insane stuff.
Yeah. It's
Does
still
a
incredible.
Does a handrail.
Yeah.
Ollie's onto a handrail.
Yeah. 50-50's a handrail on that part, I'm pretty sure. I don't know, it's been a while, but that's one of my favourite parts of all time, for sure. Like
Nardis's part?
Yeah.
Well, I can tick that question off because that was going to be one of my questions.
What, my favourite part of all time?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, put it down. I mean, because it changed the way I looked at skating, you know, when I saw that.
Yeah.
So I was young and very impressionable and just sort of starting to skate, and the way he did it was just so sick, you know, like...
Well, describe that. Like, what was different compared to what you knew prior to that?
He just kind of looked like, he's street skating, which is, it's represented the change from vert to street skating, basically. And the way he did it, he just adapted to his environment very, very well, you know what I mean? And didn't look awkward. It looked like he was kind of surfing the streets, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know, and that ollie, you know what I mean? Like, when you're a kid, like, you got to learn to ollie. And it's like, what? He's ollieing so high. Like,
yeah. It's just like pure creativity. Like, he was utilising the urban environment.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And then that was like, I'll never forget when I seen Public Domain the first time. And there's a scene at the start where like Ray Barbie, Guy Mariano, I think Chet Thomas, and they're just like cruising down the street and just doing trick after trick, like I guess like some of the first street lines ever, you know, and just like linking tricks together. And I'm like, oh my God, like it's like they're dancing in the streets. Like it's
that's another one of my favourite parts of all time. The Rubber Boys thing, the music, you know, like I hear that song and I feel like I want to cry. You know what I mean? Like it's just so special to me. But I watch it and it really represents like that period. Like, it represents getting your mates together and going skating in the streets. You know what I mean? And that was such a special thing to do at a special time in your life. You know what I mean? And I just love it. That part's incredible.
It's so exciting, wasn't it? Like
Really
just that community with friends,
Yeah.
you know, it's unbeatable.
I mean, whether it was a bunch of friends going out skating with each other or just Stacey manufactured it, I don't know, but it clearly represents that, you know, that part. So you don't get that much anymore, I noticed, you know. It's all like, here's my video. It's very selfish. It's like, here's my part. I spent years on this, you know what I mean? It doesn't really represent the fun aspect like that part did.
No, it's exactly like, here's a clip. It's going to be just long enough to keep your attention on the internet, on social media, or on a website and that's it.
Yeah, we got the formula. We got your handrail, you got your lines, and it's
Tick, tick, tick.
4 minutes long, and yeah.
Although, like going back to that scene of just being with your friends in the streets, learning tricks and stuff. I was saying to you the other day, I was cruising through Newcastle and I seen like this core crew of skaters. Like one of them was Rowan Davis, actually, just sponsored by a girl. And I was just with my kids cruising past, and I had this moment of just like real skaters really hanging out, and there's just this presence about that crew.
Yeah.
And they were skating these ledges, and they were filming, and they were laughing, and they were having fun. And I was just like,
is that civic spot with all those ledges and a set of stairs, like near the train station, like in town there?
I don't. Am I allowed to give up spots?
Mate, probably not.
Give it up.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Secret. Yeah,
but it's in the centre of town.
Yeah,
like there's these sick ledges near an iconic area. Well, near. I don't know. I feel bad for saying, but
I think you filmed a whole part at that spot.
Yeah, it's where the museum is.
Yeah,
yeah. I think they call it the museum ledges.
I'm not too sure. I haven't been in Newcastle for a long time, but I did spend a fair bit of time there back in the 90s.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I loved it, man. I love Newcastle.
Why do you think you were like drawn up that way?
Well, I was riding for Amnesia, which is based in Newcastle, and Chris Yo was up there, and I'd go stay with him and spend time with Ben Cox and skate up there, and I don't know. I had a really good. I mean, these are the formative years of your life, like you're 17, 18 years old, and you're finding your feet, and Newcastle was just sick. Like a good crew. It was a good crew back then, and obviously still a good crew now. So just a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, Amnesia Skateboards. So tell us the backstory behind that company.
From what I know of it, Chris Yo started a zine, probably in the early 90s, probably 92 or something, and he was into his photography and whatnot, and I think he saw a bit of a hole in the market there for boards, and he started to get, boards pressed at Omni, I'm pretty sure, and, he started a little grassroots company. Ben Cox was the only team rider.
No way.
And, I don't know, it just grew like that, and I remember one day, because he was friends with Wade, you remember Wade Burkett?
Wade Burkett, yeah.
Yeah, Chris was good friends with Wade, and I'm good friends with Wade as well. And he came one day, I don't know, just at the bowl or something, and Wade's like, "Oh, here's a board for you to skate." I'm like, "What? What do you mean?" Like, he goes, "Yeah, Chris Yo, he's doing this company, Amnesia, and he wants you to try the boards." I'm like, "Yeah, sick, dude. I'm down." So
was that the first time you ever had a free board?
Probably not the first time, but. Yeah, it was a crucial time. The first time...
Yeah, do you remember the first time you were ever given a skateboard for free?
Yeah, man. I think, dude, when I was young, when I was at school, high school, I went to America for an exchange when I was about 16, I think, and I went to skate camp over there.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, and it was the Eddie O'Gara, he ran this skate camp in the top of Wisconsin, and... Yeah, it was cool. We were skating that, and Alan Peterson there, he was the camp counsellor, actually, Alan Peterson.
No way, dude.
Yeah, so, and this company rolled through called Good Times. Remember Good Times?
Yeah.
They were sick.
Did you skate for Good Times?
Yeah, well, they were kind of on flow, they just sort of see me skating, and yeah, whatever, we like what you're doing. Here's some boards, here's a box, here's some clothes, and yeah, it was sick. It was really cool. And, yeah, man, I think they're doing a reboot now,
Are they?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Greg Witt, the guy's name is, and I think he's doing it back again. But they had a pretty good run, man. They had some good skaters on their team, like Rhys Forbes was on at the time.
Yes. God, that guy could ollie.
Yeah, it was gnarly. And Adil, remember that Norwegian Adil, the vert skater?
Dude, I'm having a... No.
He was on there at the time. He was at that skate camp. He was insane. And I don't know, Adam McNatt, Peter Hewitt, there's a few. Jordan Richter. Yeah, they all skated for Good Times. So
Jordan Richter, that's vert guy who had a vert part in the Fine Video days.
Yeah, did he? You sure?
He did. Yeah,
right.
And
I don't remember.
It was just bizarre.
No, I do. It's like the most fast forwarded video part of all time.
That's what I mean. I always felt bad for him because it was just this time of when these guys were just breaking down the doors for street skaters nowadays. Yeah. So breakthrough, and then sort of felt sorry for him that he had that vert part. Incredible
skateboarder.
It's great.
No denying it. But yeah, it's just when you're in the mix with Gons and Jason Lee and Guy Mariano and Rudy Johnson, like
In their
kind of get
prime.
lost in that, you know.
Yeah, poor guy was in the shadows there, wasn't he? So, so you went to skate camp when you were 16, yeah? Is that what you said?
16, 17, yeah, it would have been, yeah.
Okay, let's go back. Like, how old were you when you first started skating?
Well, depends what you call skating. Like, first time, you know what I mean? Like, when you're young, I was probably 8 or 9 or whatever, like, my cousin was like, yeah, he's into skating. Like, and I'm like, yeah, you do it. You're my older cousin, you do what he's doing. Like, I'll get a skateboard too, you know what I mean? So I got this little plastic board and kind of learned how to stand up and roll around and tic-tac and whatnot. So I was probably 8 or 9, maybe 9 at that stage, and kind of, just learn the basics, the foundations or whatever. And then, I don't know, just got put aside or whatever, the other interests, or, when you're a kid, you just do whatever. But then when high school rolled around, so I was about 12, I had a friend there that was into skating quite a bit. So, just basically got back into it then. And that's when it really, the tricks started happening. You learn how to ollie, and you start to expand what you can do. And it just got addictive from there,
Yeah, you felt it young.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I felt it pretty hard. Yeah. Yeah, and it's been like that ever since.
And this was when it didn't start till you moved to Manly from Adelaide, or it started in Adelaide?
No, I was we're over on the Northern Beaches when I first skated, for sure. Yeah, so, that's probably, that's like mid-80s.
Yeah, mid-80s.
Mid-80s, yeah. So that's like, what are we saying here? That's like 5 decades of skateboarding.
Dude.
What is it, 80s, 90s?
Wait, 5
zeros,
decades.
10s, 20s, 5 decades. Not 5 full decades.
You've gone across those decades.
Yeah.
So it's safe to say you've probably been skating like 35 years, maybe longer.
Yeah, easily, man, easy.
And let's just jump forward though.
Jeez, I'm old. Aren't we? We are old. Look at us.
Well, you're older than me.
Yeah.
By a year.
Yeah.
No, but I'm just joking. But let's fast forward. Like, I think we talked about this yesterday. It's like, did you ever think that you'd still have that hunger and to progress, in your 40s?
Man, no. How could you? You know what I mean? Like, skating, 40-year-old skaters didn't exist when we were young. You know what I mean? It just wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
And now it's like you go to the skate park, there's a 40-year-old dude, there's a 12-year-old girl, there's a mum with a daughter. You know what I mean? It's just so like... But back then it was just like, it was 15, 16, 17-year-old kids, and that was guys mostly, and that was basically it. So, yeah, you didn't... I mean, look, when you're 21, 22, you're done. You're over the hill. You know what I mean? Like, back in those days, times have changed. Yeah,
it's crazy. Do you think
clearly
skateboarding's more inclusive than it's ever been?
I think so. Yeah, I do. It's kind of. I mean, yeah, I do. It's for everyone basically these days. You know what I mean? It's. Yeah, but back then, it seemed like skating was like a secret society. It sounds corny but it sort of was. Like I didn't want other people involved. You know what I mean? I liked it like that. We were the outcasts. We're skaters. Like, you don't get this. It's not cool.
Yeah.
We're not. We're not the cool kids. We're not like.
Do you think it was more judgy though? Like, skaters were more judgy of each other.
Yeah.
There's more cliques, hey.
100%, man. Yeah, it was. You kind of had to be like tough in a way. You had to be like a prick, sort of, somewhat.
You reckon?
So kind of, you know what I mean?
Well,
like,
why?
a bit opinionated. I don't know.
Well, what do you? I wonder where that comes from. That feeling to be like that.
Don't know. Do you remember going to the skate park when you were like young and the older skaters were there and you just did not feel like welcome? You know what I mean?
Terrified.
Like, it was just it was bullying. They were bullying.
Dude, I'll never forget our first skate park I ever skated was Alloa Bowl. Do you remember Alloa Bowl near Hurstville?
Yeah.
And it was like, I'll never forget, I was like 12 when I was with my friend, and I remember standing on they had like an island, like it was like a donut bowl type thing, and I stood on the island, and some older dude screamed at me, "Get off the fucking..."
man.
Like, I was just like, I was like, imagine you did that to a kid at a skate park now. Like, you'd have the parents after you and you'd get reported.
Some of the kids do need that kind of attention these days, you know what I mean? Like,
dude, I was talking about this with another friend. It's like, I just think we've all gone too soft.
Yeah,
and
man. No one gets punched in the face anymore. You know what I mean?
God,
like,
no.
back when we were kids, like, anything you do wrong, you risk getting punched in the face.
You did, but it built resilience, don't you reckon?
Yeah, for sure. And I'm the same. I remember going out to Curl Park, and it was just the vert ramp there, and you know, it's a huge vert ramp. I'm not dropping in, so I was like, all right, we'll start on the flat bottom, and the dudes up the top were just furious at it. Like, oh shit, I can't do this anymore. Like, sorry, whoever it was, probably Blair Heath and Jamie Birtles and, you know, those crew. They were a few years older than us, but they were like, you know, ripping already. Mulhall.
Yeah,
you know, those
right.
types.
Well, because just to give everyone a history lesson, like Curl Park, specifically the vert ramp, it's probably one of the only vert ramps in the whole region. I mean, there was Mona Vale.
Mona Vale was a little bit later, came a little bit later than Curl, but yeah, that vert ramp has been there since as long as I can remember. I know some of those ramps out the back were from the Skate City. Remember Manly Skate City?
Oh, vaguely.
Early 80s, late 70s kind of fiberglass ramps. It was right near the wharf down there at Manly. So, but yeah, that's like I said. I mean, yeah, there was a PAL demo in '87, and you know there was the Alva demo in '88, and it's just. So I don't even know the exact year it was there. Like us, yeah.
Dude, were you skating at the time when they had Ramp Riot at the Opera House and Christian Hosoi was there?
I was. I didn't go to that. I didn't.
But you were skating.
I was skating
that time?
then. Yeah. That's right when I started skating. Yeah, when that was happening. So what year was that? Probably 88.
I was 88.
Yeah.
Because I started skating. I got my first proper skateboard in 88.
Yeah.
But it was a Christmas book. Like I got it for Christmas. So it's the end of 88.
What was your first skateboard?
Dude, Lance Mountain, Powerwell, Bonite.
Bonite, yeah, right.
You know, and
how was it?
Well, it went soggy really quick.
That's
But
what I heard.
I mean, it was kitted out. Like it had like a pad on the tail, like a tail pad.
Yeah, of course.
A nose guard,
Yeah.
rails.
Weighed
Probably weighed 10 kilos.
Yeah.
And I just never forget because like I remember like my parents got divorced around that time, and then it was kind of like my dad just took me to this one skate shop down in Nowra actually, and they had all the good brands, and he just like fully decked me out.
Yeah, right.
You know what's so funny? Like I remember,
he's trying to spoil you because it's like, we're
think
divorced and you're on my side now, and is that how it works? I don't. My parents, yeah.
It was a guilt skateboard.
Yeah, okay. I'll gladly take that. You know, like I would have been stoked if my parents took me down to any shop and said, "Have what you want."
But you know what was a trip about it? I'll never forget, like, the setup cost like $300. I remember back then.
Yeah.
And it's like, but really, like, a complete setup these days will cost
About
around
the
the
same.
same. Like,
Yeah.
skateboard prices haven't changed.
Nah, it's
Why?
great.
It's
Oh,
so
man.
weird.
I think, like, the supply and demand thing, you know, the basic economics, because, well, they're made in China nowadays, and how many boards would they sell these days compared to back then? It must be 20, 50 times more boards, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, but that's interesting. The Lance Mountain, is that the Future Primitive graphic?
Yeah,
one?
so it had the indigenous pictures on it, and just recently I bought the reissue of it.
Yeah.
Joey Lyons down at Kingpin grabbed it for me because I don't know how I'm not very savvy to how the whole reissue thing works, but I know they only make like limited edition.
Yeah, okay, so they can charge more for them.
Yeah, and then if you hold on to it, then it accumulates. Like
of course, it's
you know,
currency.
It becomes like valuable, and so I just wanted. I don't care about that shit. I was just more like, well, I've got to have that board on my wall.
Yeah.
You know, but what I'd give to have kept that Bonite board. Like, how many classic boards do you think you've just thrown out over the years?
Oh man,
you wish you kept.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't wish I kept any of them, but like, if I had not have skated the boards that I did skate and have now, you know, it'd be like I could retire basically. You know, like some of those old world boards, the '92 models. Like, yeah, it was just amazing. But
Like, what was your first like legit skateboard though? Do you remember?
yeah, of course, man. Everyone remembers their first legit skateboard. It was a Tony Magnuson. Yeah, remember those H Street? Yeah.
No way.
I might not have even been H Street. It might have been just before H Street. Like, it was called Magnuson Designs or whatever. So I was like, I chose it because in my theory, when I'm 11 or 12, whatever it was, to ollie high, you got to have the steepest tail. Because the point of impact is going to be so much more vertical when you hit your tail. You know, you obviously would be able to ollie higher, but...
Yeah.
So I just looked for the board with the steepest tail, and that was it. Had the hell concave, and it was a mini, actually. It wasn't the full-size board because I was a little midget, you know.
That's right. They made minis.
Yeah, it was a mini. So, but that theory didn't work, unfortunately.
Right.
But it was rad. It was cool. I skated the board and wore it out. But my second board was way better. It was that, it was the Nardis.
No way.
Yeah, it was that black top.
SMA
Yeah, it was an SMA, an artist. So it was not the original
with the
graphic with the panther. It was the
Panther.
second iteration of that panther
Okay.
graphic. You don't see it as often, but it's basically identical to the first one, but it's a little bit more modern looking.
Right.
Yeah, but that was sick. Yeah.
Because Nardis also brought out a mini of that model as well. You could get a Nardis SMA mini,
With
and
a
instead
kitten?
of a panther, it was a kitten.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, amazing.
Great
yeah.
graphics,
That's.
mate.
I mean, if I was going to collect a board or get an old board, I'd try and find that one. You know, just for those reasons, and that'd be it. You know, I'm not going to start a collection or hang boards like art. You know what I mean? But
So
that'd be cool.
Growing up in Manly, you know, and you discover skating, what'd you say, around 9, 10, you started getting right into it?
Yeah, I mean, that was when I was just on the banana board, you know, like just figuring out how to turn and tic-tac. And it's funny because I learned how to tic-tac, but I could only tic-tac backside.
Gotcha.
So I'd go around in a circle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this is cool. Like, I'll just race around in a circle as fast as I can go. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have to start figuring out how to tic-tac the other way soon.
Yeah.
And I did, and yeah.
And so...
Off the races. But from about 12, like start of high school, I really started getting into it.
Did you find a crew at high school that skated, connected?
Just one dude, Kent Lunny. You remember Kent Lunny?
I do remember that.
Yeah.
Wow. I
Yeah.
didn't know him personally, but that name, far out.
Yeah, he was a sick skateboarder in his own right. Definitely, like, amazing. So he inspired me, like, to get right into it. So
What high school did you go to?
it's called Beacon Hill High School. It doesn't even exist anymore. Like, if you speak to the kids these days, oh, you went to Beacon Hill High School. Like, what are you talking about? Like, there's no such thing. There's a primary school and there's no high school. So it's been going for 20 years or so.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Legendary.
Yeah.
Were there many skaters there, or was it just you and
Nah,
him?
not really at all. Like, yeah, me and Lunny were basically the only ones in our year. There was a couple others, but I don't know. Yeah, we were kind of into it, you know.
Yeah.
We're the skate nerds.
Did you ever get because it's such a surf town, this whole area, like Northern Beaches.
Yeah, it is,
You know,
yeah.
was there acceptance by the surf community, or were you out? Did you feel outed?
Didn't
care?
Not really. I mean, I think the surfers kind of had a bit of a respect for it because, you know, on the off days of the waves, you'd see the surfers out there skating. And they figured out pretty soon that it's, you know, the stuff that we were doing, like, not us, but like skateboarders in general, was difficult, you know, and like respectable. So, I don't remember having any grief from surfers, you know.
What about your parents? Were they supportive of you doing it through your teens?
Man, you know what? Probably not 100%, no. Like, but skating wasn't it wasn't established back then. It wasn't like a sport. It wasn't athletes. It was like, you know, degenerates.
Yeah.
It just was mixed with the, you know, that crowd of just like, yeah, this guy's a bum and he's out there drinking and bloody doing graffiti and damaging property. You know what I mean? It's just mixed up with that. So it wasn't taken seriously. They're always like, oh, you know, you got to. Skating won't last forever, you know what I mean? Like, when I was a kid, I just loved it. I just took it all in. I wanted to skate all the time. And
Did you?
And my parents didn't understand that. Like, I love them to death, but they didn't see what it meant to me, you know what I mean? Like, and what skating sort of has turned into. Like, I'm sure they're super proud or whatever, but you know, skating now is an Olympic sport. Look at that. I mean, it's like respectable in the community. It just was not like that back in, you know, those days.
Do you think they sort of treated it like you were just going through a phase?
Pretty much. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they were academic sort of based. Like, my old man was just like, you know, you got to go to school and you got to study and you got to, you know, probably go to uni or something one day. And, you know, that wasn't my main focus. Like, I wasn't academically driven.
What about, how did their opinion of it change, like, once you got into your late teens, early 20s and you're still really pushing it, maybe picking up a sponsor or two?
Yeah, I don't know.
Did they ever communicate about it with you? Or?
Not too much. I mean, I don't know, man. I think they respect and like what I do and what I've done, and yeah. But yeah, I don't know. They never really expressed it. They were like supportive of it or what, you know. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, yeah, I love my parents, whatever, but you know, it was just different.
It's different.
Yeah, it was. It's not like today. You know, like I said, the mum and dad bring their kids down the skate park and they're like, oh, learn this trick and learn that trick and you're doing it wrong, and we're going to go to the Olympics one day. Like, Paris is coming up next year. You got to learn your lines.
Well, the skate coaching thing, I mean, like I said, I've been at this, you know, hanging out at this bowl in Newcastle. It's quite famous, as you know, and it's been a bit of a trip for me because there's a very obvious generation of kids with skate coaches.
Yeah.
And they're ripping. There's no doubt about it. But
yeah.
it's just, you know, being from, I guess, you know, late 80s, early 90s to see, you know, these kids with an actual coach and a training plan for skateboarding.
Yeah, it's wild, yeah.
How does that sit with you?
Oh, man, I mean, skating's about a lot more than tricks and competition to me. Obviously, it's like, it's missing a little bit of the art, you know what I mean? It's not art, what they're doing. It's sport, it's athletic, and, I don't know, like, I don't really 100% back it, you know what I mean? But it's cool, do what they got to do. And I went in skateboard competitions as well, you know what I mean? It wasn't my main focus or drive or whatever, but whatever. Good on them. Like, skating's for everyone, like I said. You know, it's not just for, like, the outcasts and the...
Well, I just think there's an irony if we judge. There's a real irony there.
Oh, yeah.
Because we were so heavily judged when we were young.
Yeah.
You know? So who are we to judge?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I have to keep saying that to myself.
For sure.
Like, I really judged the Olympics before they actually came on.
Yeah,
I was like, this is bullshit. This is the end of skateboarding.
Well, we saw that with the advent of the X Games as well. It's the same thing to me. We've already experienced that in that form, you know, like it's been taken out of skateboarders' hands already, you know.
Yeah.
But how are you going to judge, like, one run to another run? You know what I mean? Like, how do you judge it?
Subjective.
How do you judge, I don't know, a piece of art? You know what I mean? Like, how do you do it? The way I was thinking, like, you know what? If you're going to do this legitimately, like a Olympics should be, like, let's set up a high ollie comp. Yeah. Let's set up the highest air comp. So there's no disputing it. It's just like, right, this dude went 0.3 millimeters higher than you know what I mean? It's just like you can judge that, but you can't judge a run and you can't judge a trick.
I heard that somewhere else, but I agree with you 100%. Yeah, because there's two types of judgment. There's like subjective, and I think the other one is objective.
Yeah.
And subjective is open-ended, where it's just like someone's opinion or feeling,
Yeah.
you know, based on a criteria as well. And then there's objective, where it's like, there's a clear measure.
Yeah, and
that's
that's why I think the Olympics should be. I mean, I'm not the first one to say it, I'm sure, but like, let's do that.
Tell me some events you'd have. So highest ollie, what else? What else would we have?
Yeah, I mean, highest air would be sick. You know what I mean? Set up a 15 foot.
Don't they have that already on the Mega Ramp X Games Mega thing?
Probably. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it's not really like an Olympic sport. You know what I mean? It's not. It doesn't really fit that criteria.
I agree. But one thing I've come around to in my mind is that skateboarding is so fucking hard. I just don't think it'll ever be mainstream because, like, even at the base level, people can get to a certain level with skateboarding, but then if they want to go past that, it's going to be really hard and it's going to hurt and you're going to hurt yourself. And most people don't want to do that. And I just think that's what's always going to keep skateboarding core.
Yeah, I agree, for sure.
It's just really fucking hard.
And it's not about, like, the tricks and how it's not about the run you can put together. It's about much more than that. It's about, like, the aesthetic. It's an aesthetic-based sport. It's like how you look. It's like the spots that you skate, you know? It's like, it's not like, I can do this trick, I can do that trick, and, you know, it's just about much more than that. It's like, it's a creative outlet, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I know, like, it's like I'd much rather watch, like, a really simple trick done really well as opposed to some really technical, hard trick done badly.
Yeah.
Who were some skaters that you were drawn to stylistically?
Style-wise?
Yeah.
I like Kenny Anderson.
Oh, I can't believe you said that.
Yeah.
Because I was just thinking, like, in my mind, I was thinking, like, there's footage of Kenny Anderson just doing, like, a backside 180 on flat.
It's amazing.
Have you ever seen that?
Oh, man, I watched that part last night.
And it's just a backside 180 on flat, and it's the most beautiful thing I've ever
amazing.
seen.
Yeah, there's a part online. It's not even from a video. It's just like someone's put it together. And I don't know, it's got some sick music and it's just his kind of outtakes and it's him just skating. It's not too serious, but it's so good.
Is it?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Dude, who else?
I don't know. Style. I mean, I love Donnie Barley. Remember Donnie?
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. But he's a different kind of, you know, he had a really solid stance and he's a very powerful kind of skater. So
interesting.
that was sick. But I don't know. You know, just Yeah.
So you skated through your teens, and then
Who's yours?
I mean, obviously, I say this all the time. Like Guy Mariano has had the biggest influence on me
Yeah.
in so many ways. Like I just have always been really drawn to him. I identify with him skateboarding wise, like the way he skates. Obviously, like everyone loves how he skates, but
Yeah.
just because. When I watch Blind Video Days, like I'm the same age as Guy Mariano, and he was the youngest of the crew, and he's a little Mediterranean kid background.
And you are as well.
Was like, that was me, yeah.
Where's your background?
My father he passed away last year, but he Maltese.
Okay, yeah.
So, you
know. Ben
so,
Gauchi's Maltese, isn't he? You know Ben Gauchi?
I don't know him personally.
I think he's Maltese. I could be wrong. Sorry, Ben, if I'm wrong.
Yeah, so it was Guy Mariano, but, I really, really loved him. And I love Andrew Reynolds.
Yeah.
They were sort of my guys. Yep. But in more recent years, like I'm really loving, like I really like watching Jamie Foy.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's something about him. Like he's
unassuming.
He's a big boy, big boy Foy, and I'm like, I'm just really mesmerised by him. And there's a few, but I don't know.
Yeah, if we're going to talk about modern dudes, like
who did you go for modern wise?
Bobby De Keyser.
Oh yeah,
incredible. Gustav Tonenson.
Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
Amazing.
You like that guy?
And Antonio Durao.
Who?
Antonio Durao.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay.
He just got the cover of Thrasher, so it's pretty
so sick.
Current, but his footage he's incredible, man.
Yeah, dude.
He's so sick. But
no way. So when you were like a teenager though, skating, and then into your early 20s, like you graduated high school, obviously.
Yeah. I graduated in America and in Australia.
So what were you doing in America?
I was an exchange student. Remember we spoke about this briefly?
Yeah.
Briefly, yeah. And I went to skate camp over there with Eddie O'Gara.
I didn't realise that you were doing.
Yeah,
I didn't know that you actually went to high school and graduated over there.
Yeah. That's part of the exchange program. Yeah.
What an experience.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, it was really good, man. Yeah. A lot of skating going on over there too.
So when you sort of transitioned into the adult world, did you work a job?
Oh man, it took me a while to settle into that sort of adult role, you know what I mean? Like I didn't really embrace society that well. I was all like, I don't know, man. I kind of like stayed away. Was on the dole, as you do when you're kind of younger.
You had that phase straight out of high school?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I just wanted to skate. That's just what I was into.
So you were able to sustain like a lifestyle from skating and being on the dole? Pretty
much, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was living at home for a while. I mean, until my parents got, fed up with it. They're like, you're a bludger, you know what I mean? But, I don't know. I was just kind of, it took me a while to really settle into adulthood, I'll be honest. Yeah. Probably, a long time.
Define adulthood.
Look around. Look where I've got a mortgage and a bloody career and a bloody wife and a daughter and taxes and problems. You know what I mean? Adulting. And I don't know. I only really started on that journey probably when I hit 30 or something, maybe. Yeah, I was doing odd jobs here and there and, just not taking it too seriously because life's not meant to be serious. You know that.
Well, I don't know that. I lost my way there for a while.
Did you?
Yeah.
How?
Got real serious. Well, similar to sort of vibe to you. Like, I tried the adulting thing no, this sounds weird. Yeah. I think my desire to really provide for children outweighed my personal interests and needs.
Yep.
And I make no apologies for that.
Did you make the children with this in mind, that you want to provide for other humans, or did you just find this after you made the humans? You know what I mean?
After I made the humans, because I mean, you've got a kid.
It changes, man. As soon as you have that human, it's all your values and everything changes real quick.
Is that what happened to you?
Oh man, straight away. I was like, all right, I got to knuckle down here. This is what life's about now. Is like this person, my daughter and my wife, because she's like caring for her. Basically, they homeschool and
do they?
Yeah, she's very hands-on with all that. So I've got to provide the means for that, and that's what we've kind of got here.
That's a good setup.
Yeah, it's cool. Do
you feel like more of a sense of purpose than you've ever had?
Yeah, in a way, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
okay.
I mean, like I said, I make the money basically. Like I go and work the job and provide, and if I can provide the shelter and the food and the creature comforts, and my job's pretty.
Do you
pretty
want to
well done.
ask? Or do you want to tell us what you do?
For work?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm an electrician.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I started kind of that path a bit late. I was an what do they call them? Like a mature aged apprentice.
Yeah.
So I started when I was 30.
Okay.
And,
How'd you fall into that? Like, what sort of prompted that?
just from working like dead end factory jobs, you know what I mean, for a while. It's like, what,
Could do something.
yeah, just menial manual labour and whatever. I need a ticket. I need a qualification. I need something to say, look, I can apply myself and I'm qualified to do something. Like so, my skills are sought after, which they weren't previously.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did that. I did the apprenticeship thing and got through that, and I've been working. I work for the local council, so
Yeah.
which is pretty cool. Like, good job.
In the area of Mona Vale.
Yeah, it's called Northern Beaches Council now. It was
right.
Pittwater, so they amalgamated. It's called. So it's a massive area.
Man, like that's such a good. Like you're in such a good zone.
Yeah.
You
It's incredible, man. We're very spoiled, dude. I don't take it for granted. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to you earlier about, that comparison between, like maintaining a good balanced lifestyle. So, there's always this draw when you have a family to go and get a bigger house in the suburbs.
Yeah.
Like, why doesn't that appeal to you?
I don't want to really have too much like desire, like too much, like a need for more, because it's never that fulfillment will never be met.
Gotcha.
So I'm trying to aim for a bit more gratitude with what we've got, and it might be a small place, but I mean, look where we are. It's like we've got everything we need. You know what I mean? Like we're really, really well set up here. So
That's so interesting that you said that.
You know what I mean? Though, if you desire the next thing, the next a bigger house, a better car, like blah blah blah, like all this stuff. It's you're always striving for something that's never going to be eventuated.
How have you come to that realization though? Did you have a period of striving for that stuff?
Not really. I don't know. I just realised like the best things in life that I've come across aren't really involved with like, things, and money and striving, like, we're stoked what we've got.
Do you think it's the root of a lot of misery in our society?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Exactly for the reasons why I just outlined, because there's no end to it. You know what I mean? Like, you can, and look at the richest people in the world. A lot of them probably don't think they're rich enough. There's always more. There's this greed that it creates this, exploitation of others and greed and like, it's harsh.
Well, I just think it's the biggest fallout from capitalism, this desire to consume.
Yeah, man. We're the only species on the planet that does it, you know what I mean? Like, look at our system.
Yeah.
Imagine the animals looking at us going, what the hell are they doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, it's insane.
Like, this dude goes out every single day at 7 a.m. to come home to, like, go to the supermarket to buy food to eat. And my cat's probably sitting there and she's like, you know what? I can just walk out this door and find a mice and I'm good. And I can sleep all day. You know what I mean? Like, she's stoked.
I just think the saddest thing about it is, and you sound like you've got a balance with it, but it's time away from your children.
Yeah.
And, you really put yourself in a position, a lot of people do, where you have to work very long hours to keep up with your financial responsibilities. Now, on the noble side of that is you're providing shelter for your children, but then you're putting your children in daycare and schools and getting someone else to do the most important aspect of their life, and that's to raise them and teach them. It just
100%.
never makes it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's I'm a teacher, and I'm like I trip out all the time. Like I spend more time with other people's children
That's crazy.
than my own.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't have that.
It doesn't make
problem at all,
when you really strip it back. It doesn't make sense.
No, it's wild. Yeah.
But it's like no, I have to work. It's like, so you're saying that job is more important than being with time with your children.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you never get that time back or that connection back either. So yeah.
So I think I'm a realist as well, and you sound like a realist as well. But you've got to find a balance because,
Yeah.
time's finite.
Yeah, we got that balance here, man. Like I said, we don't we don't live lavish lifestyle, you know what I mean? But we get by, we do all right. My daughter's, stay at home. She learns what she needs to learn and she thrives where she needs to thrive and she's creative and happy. And
How old is she?
she's going to be 10 this year, so, yeah.
She's been homeschooled ever since?
The whole time, yeah.
Does your wife find that difficult?
Nah, she loves it. She's a natural born mum, basically. Like, she's really, really embraced motherhood.
Has she?
Yeah.
Wow. And do you contribute to the homeschooling in terms of like teaching and learning?
I do what I can, for sure. Yeah, yep.
What do you do?
Well, I don't necessarily teach, like, oh, here's a maths problem we got to solve, you know what I mean? But, you know, I encourage her to draw and try and inspire her, you know, here and there. And we try, you know, learn things and go places and be interested and, you know, I don't know, man. Like, when you're 9, you don't want to be, like, being, you know, examined on problems, you know? You just want to live your life, you know? You got to be a kid, you know?
That's what our current system's doing, though, because they need data. They want data.
Yeah.
And data drives the allocation of funds. You know, they base everything on this data.
Right.
That's what people forget. That's what it comes back to. So,
Yeah.
And it's not practical, and it's not nurturing an individual. And each individual has their own skill set, you know, and interest areas, and
100%.
that's what's going to produce a better society in the long term. That's what I think. That's what's so broken.
Did you get your best out of your schooling, your school years, or did you go to public school?
Yeah.
Yeah, so did I, and I kind of.
How did it end up for you?
Well, I don't know. I just kind of got out of it. Like, yeah, cool. That was cool. Like 17 years of my life, and what have I got? You know what I mean? I feel like at some days I swear I'd go there for 6 hours or whatever, and I swear whatever I learnt, I could have learnt in 20 minutes, basically. You know, like I was like, I've wasted a lot of time at this place.
What about the things that are hard to measure, like social skills? Do you think it's a good place for developing, you know, communication skills? And
yeah, can be for sure. You find your place in the world, I guess. You know, but are you trying to ask? Because that's the first question people ask when you say you're homeschooling. Is like, what about the social aspect of that? And is that the question you kind of getting at, like for my daughter? Because
I'm curious.
She's got got a little community of homeschool kids that they sort of hang out with, and she's got so it's not like school where it's like thousands of kids, you know what I mean? And, she's social as.
So she's got a peer group that are doing similar things, and she can connect with that way.
Yeah.
See, I really think that's the way it's going. I think the COVID lockdowns really highlighted that.
Yeah.
So you guys were already doing it through COVID. So that would have been no impact to her.
No, not at all.
Didn't shake her up. You were sustainable that way.
Yeah. And I kept my job throughout that as well, which was pretty handy too, because a lot of people like struggled financially, obviously.
Yeah, they did. Also, they kept you on. You still had work to do. I guess you were...
I was quiet for sure, but there was still stuff to do,
regarded as an essential worker.
Yeah, that's right.
Dude, I skated so much during those lockdowns.
Yeah, man. Me too.
Like, so much. We had a DIY spot. RIP Mavs, best DIY spot ever.
Is that the one in the Gong in town? Yeah, I went down and skated that. That was sick, yeah.
Yeah, it's something about it. It was just ghetto and it was just fun. And
what is it now?
The apartment, they're turning into apartment. Okay. It's all demolished apartment buildings, capitalism,
of course.
Magic.
Yeah.
But it was a real grey area because people could go out to do essential exercise.
Yeah.
But then we'd go to the DIY and like cops would sort of cruise past and go, oh, I don't know, is that essential exercise?
No, yeah.
You know, and we never got busted.
Yeah. Well, it is, obviously. It's obviously exercise, but yeah. Thank God the COVID, that situation's a distant memory now. Like, geez, that was harsh.
Yeah, I think, you know, now the hindsight of it all and considering it, it amazes me how quickly people forget.
Oh, you block it out, I think. Like, I'm just like...
Yeah, it's like, does anyone remember like how controlled we were? They just forget.
Yeah, like I said, it's like a traumatic experience. So you kind of try and block out those things out of your memory. Like if you think about it, I'm like, that was right. Like we got locked up here on the northern beaches. Like no one allowed in, no one allowed out. Like from Narrabeen Bridge up, it's like that's it.
Yeah, because it was a hot spot and all that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a hot zone. And that was over Christmas as well. That was one of the best Christmases going. We had the place to ourselves, and it was
Just super quiet.
yeah, it was cool. Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I love my family and whatnot. It would have been nice to see them, but yeah, we had a great time.
Yeah. Do you feel like you bonded with your wife and daughter? A little bit more?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, I know in that time period too, there was a lot of troubles with relationships because people were spending a lot more time with one another, you know what I mean? And all your problems start to rise to the top. Is that what happened to you, Shane?
Oh, damn you.
Is it? I don't know. I know it happened to a lot of people. That's what I'm saying. Like, so.
Yeah, it was a big thing. I think it magnified any I'm struggling for words now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it did magnify things for relationships that
Yep.
may have already been struggling.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think it was the catalyst for a lot of them ending.
Yep.
Which is, really traumatic, and I know, like, it sounds like you might have had a good time through that period of time, but I think for some people, yeah, it sparked a chain reaction of very, very difficult times.
Yeah.
Like, I think especially for small business owners,
Oh,
so many went under.
Yep.
Despite all the government support and stuff, must have been very traumatic. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, but we survived.
We did survive, yeah. We're on to another chapter, whether it's a good one or not. Like, we would, that's hopefully it's just done. Hopefully we don't have to talk about that for another 100 years. A pandemic, like.
Yeah,
Things might be normal for a while yet, but like, yeah.
I know. But again, for me, it just went back to, like, I skated so much. It was the most I'd skated, like, every day. Just, 3-hour sessions every day, like maybe 2 sessions a day. And I had another friend who just wasn't working. And I was working online, and it was all, you put your lessons online and the kids are going to learn, and you just check back in the afternoon and that sort of vibe. And, yeah, just long periods of the day. Just like, let's go skate,
At the skate park? Or the skate parks were closed?
Skate parks were closed.
Yeah.
So,
no, it's cool. Get back in the streets.
Did you skate the skate park?
For a while, the skate park was closed.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But when the second round or whatever hit, the skate parks stayed open. So.
Did they?
But yeah, we went and hit. There was a lot of street spots fully skatable back in that time, because the businesses were closed, and yeah.
I want to learn more a little bit about, like, being a skateboarder in Manly. I think for those that are unaware, like, Sydney's a big area.
Yeah.
And I've always seen the Manly area as just having, like, a really strong skate scene over the years.
Yep.
Would you agree?
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
what do you think sparked it?
Well, I think Manly Council has been really supportive of skateboarding since day one. Like putting that vert ramp there and putting the curl park, like, bowl there. You know what I mean? Like, they embraced it pretty early on. Like, nowadays, a lot of councils are getting involved, and it's like we said, it's a recognised activity. In Australia, won a gold medal, and we got to support this sport. You know what I mean? But Manly's been doing it since forever.
Yeah.
It's one of the first, like I said, the first councils in Sydney to really, really provide for skating. So.
Do you remember when Curl Park was first built?
The bowl?
The bowl.
I do. Yeah, I was there opening night. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, there was a session on that night. They lit it up, and it was super fun.
How did, in terms of progression, what sort of impact did it have on your skateboarding, having that facility? Because it was kind of like groundbreaking, one of the better skate parks in Australia at the time.
Yeah. I don't know. I skated it a lot. Yeah, it's a good weekday spot for sure. You know what I mean? Like, so being on the dole, we went there. Yeah, quite a bit on the dole. I don't want to carry on the bloody dole bludger, but yeah, that's just how it was. And we skated that park probably too much. Even.
Too much?
Maybe. I don't know. We skated heaps. But yeah, it's a fun park. It's still fun. Still get skated a lot,
And were you sponsored at that time?
Well, no, I don't think so. You know what? Okay, remember I was talking about the good times thing? This is, so after that, after that skate camp, I got a few boards off good times, came back to Australia, and the dude was like, look, we can send you boxes and we can get you fully hooked up, but we need a distributor in Australia, right? So I'm like, okay, I can... And also, we need footage from you. So I'm like, cool. I'll see what I can do, man. I'll try and figure it out. And the distributor thing sort of fell a bit flat because there was a shop called Good Times in Queensland, and they had the rights to Good Time skateboards, so got a bit weird legally, like the legalities of it were a bit odd. But with the footage thing, I was like, oh man, I don't know anyone with a video camera. Like, you know, this is not like these days where you pull your phone out and film a full part. But so I remember calling Gordo. You know Gordo?
Yeah, Gordo or Kaneki. Is that how you say
or
so?
Kinnicky.
Or Kinnicky.
Yeah. Because I knew he had a camera and I knew he was into filming and whatnot. So somehow I got his number. I called him out of the blue and said, look, I need to get some footage together for this dude in America. I didn't even really know him. And he's like, yeah, cool, for sure. Like, let's do it. Like, I'm down. I'm like, I'll meet you in the city on Sunday or whatever. We'll try and get a few clips. And ended up meeting him and got a bunch of clips actually that day. And I was like, cool, no worries, we can send that back over to America and, you know, they can do whatever they need to do with it. And Gordo ended up just like holding onto the footage. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool, whatever, I don't really care. And he ended up making that video, Plebs. You remember that video?
Yeah, dude.
Of course you do.
I loved that video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's a Nara thing going on there as well. You're a Nara dude, right? And like,
I wasn't in it or anything like that. I was in the background of things.
Yeah.
But I remember Julian Del Vecchio.
Yeah. Because he's in it, right?
Yeah, he had a part in it. And
Cam?
And Cam had tricks in it. And I remember Gordo came down to Nara just to film.
Yeah.
I think he was open to filming anyone, but it was kind of like, I think Cam and Julian were just kind of ripping and they got all the footage. But then there was some funny, like, you know, behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, some of that drunken, like...
Yeah, and which I was there for.
Yeah.
You know, but I wasn't actually...
that one.
Yeah, I wasn't there that night.
Yeah.
You know, but there's a scene actually, just you reminded me, when Julian licked the dog shit for $20. Do you remember?
Yeah, right, I do, yeah.
And I just remember, I was there. I mean, I was there for all that funny stuff, but...
$20 is $20.
Was it $20?
I think so, probably. I don't know. It's probably if you get paid or not. Was that Steve Rose there as well? Is he from Nara too?
No, he's from Randwick. From memory, he was from Randwick. And I remember him and Gordo came down, and you know, you got to remember Nara is a small town on the south coast, so it was like, the big sort of Sydney guys.
The big dogs are in town,
City slickers.
Yeah.
And like that.
Gordo was sick, man. Like, he was amazing skateboarder.
I think so. I think he's underrated.
Oh man.
And but very iconic for Australian skate scene.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the editor of Skateboarding Australia.
Yeah.
You know, and I think he really did a lot for the scene.
He did, man. I remember back when we were real young, probably in the late 80s, he organised this like city skate thing, like wild in the streets of these days, you know, where he got a bunch of skaters together on a Sunday and like took over the streets.
Yeah.
Can't remember what it was called, like something like I don't know, City Skate 2000 or something like that. Yeah. But it was like, Gordo organised all that, so. Yeah, it was sick. He loves skating. I still see him every now and again as well.
Around Sydney?
He's I saw him in Belco last time. This is probably the year before this one. Yeah, nice. But I think he's up in some little country town with his mum.
Interesting.
Like, I don't know, what's that bloody... It's not Cowra, but it's a town like way up near Walgett or something. Yeah, he's way at the back.
Like out west?
Yeah, at the back of nowhere.
So that movie Plebs, though, for those that don't know, just tell people like what it was mainly about. Like, what was the scene it was really highlighting?
Well, man, just like the Sydney scene, like in that time. It was, what year was it? I don't know, like 93, 94 kind of thing, you know, like, and, you know, there was Wade and Davo and Alex Smith and Cam and, you know, like a bunch of...
You had a part in it?
I had a part in it, but that was the part that was supposed to get sent back to America, you know, but Gordo just hung on to it. He goes, he figured out I had enough footage to, just have a part in his video, you know, and he sort of coincided. Yeah. And I'm sort of fortunate he did that.
Yeah, so to go back, though, you said that Good Times wanted a distributor in Australia.
Yeah, yeah.
And they wanted you to be the distributor?
Not me to do it, but he wanted me to sort of try and use my avenues or connections to try and get it organised.
They wanted to sponsor you, but they wanted footage.
They can't sponsor it in Australia if they can't sell boards in Australia. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But then you didn't have footage for him because Gordo hung on to it.
Gordo hung on. It just sort of fell apart anyway. You know what I mean? Because it's like back then, like the world was a much bigger place. So yeah, you can't just keep hooking up a guy in the back of Australia. You know, for what? They had bloody like Adam McNatt and Reece Forbes, and they had a proper team. You know, like And it's just me, like, oh, can I get a board? It's like,
So then it fell through. You weren't skating for him anymore?
Nah, I never really eventuated from there. But I still keep in contact with Greg. I speak to him online still, yeah. That's how I know he's kind of... And he's a, like, amazing skater himself. Still skating vert, still ripping.
Really?
Yeah. So it's... yeah, it's cool. But, yeah, I don't know, that plebs thing, like, yeah, that's... Yeah.
Did you feel like for you, in terms of the Australian skate scene, it was kind of like a breakthrough sort of moment for you in skateboarding?
Yeah, I guess in a way you could say that for sure. Yeah, there wasn't much in the way of like videos being produced of the Australian scene, so it was a pretty, like it's a groundbreaking thing for that in itself.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was cool. I mean, it just kicked it off, and yeah, it was just rad to see all your mates in the one spot and the one thing, and.
But he did it so
cool.
well. Like,
It
was not just like good skating, but it had all that, that other stuff that you want to see, like in the streets or partying.
Yeah, no, it's a sick video, man. It's cool. It's cool. It's online, I think, these days as well. It's on YouTube.
I'm gonna have to rewatch it.
Yeah, I haven't watched it for a long time, but yeah, I should. Yeah, I should do it as well. Ben Cox had a part in there as well. Ben Cox, man, he had some sick footage in that video.
It's so funny because I was skating a ramp up in Newcastle the other week and with Newcastle guys, and I said, "Oh, do you guys know Ben Cox?" Because I used to love watching that guy skate.
Yeah.
And and I used to love his pictures and stuff. And they're like, "Oh no, we don't even know who that. We don't really know who that is."
Yeah, right.
Like,
yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And then I asked you about it, and you're like, "Oh yeah."
He's been gone from Newcastle for probably 20 years, I imagine, maybe more. Yeah, he's in Tasmania these days. Yeah, I saw a photo of him just last week, actually. Like, Davo was hanging out with him in Canberra randomly. Yeah, I was like, wow, this is insane. Yeah.
So, like, okay, after the Good Times thing didn't really eventuate, I want to I do want to talk sponsorship a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, what sort of evolved for you from there and from plebs? Did you...
Yeah, I think that was when the amnesia thing and
So then amnesia happened.
I think Chris probably saw that video because he was friends with Gordo. Yeah. And I think they might have even edited some of it up there because I think Gordo was going to university in Newcastle at the time.
Okay.
So he was involved in the editing process, pretty sure. And I think that's probably where he saw the footage.
Gotcha.
Gordo's probably like, yeah, he filmed this in like a day. As you do, back then you just kind of go skating and like you film and he's like, oh, is he, whatever. Has he got a board sponsor? No, send him a board. So that sort of, that sparked that, I guess, in a way. So looking back, I guess it was kind of like a pretty, I don't know, a pivotal moment, I suppose, like in terms of that sort of thing. But yeah, I don't know. I wasn't out for skating for being sponsored, It wasn't the thing, you know what I mean? It was just like, we just love skating.
I can tell.
Yeah.
Speaking of pivotal moments, though, like when was another pivotal moment in skateboarding for you, though?
Jeez, I don't know. That's a good question, man. Like,
because I've got my own personal ones where
What's yours,
I had
Shane?
a moment. I'll never forget. I just had a moment with skateboarding that has just stuck with me. And I remember I was at the Ulladulla comp. There was a skate comp at Ulladulla.
Yep.
I don't know if it was when the Vans Warp thing on. They had like an amateur section and a pro section. I skated in the amateur section, and I somehow made it to the finals. And then in the finals, and I never used to skate comps.
Yeah.
I did a frontside tail slide on the vert wall, and
Yeah,
there's a
right.
packed crowd on the high part of the
Oh,
vert wall.
really?
I
That's
think
sick.
about that,
Wow.
and I'll never forget. I did it,
That's like a proper vert ramp, dude.
yeah, and it didn't have a platform,
Nah, it's gnarly.
And I remember just that moment. For me, it was just this real pivotal moment. It's like everything went slow-mo because I'd been trying it and I hadn't made it, and I just went for it, and I just did a frontside tail slide on it, and no one else had done it that day. And I'll never forget, just like everything went quiet and slow-mo, and everyone was like, "Ah."
Yeah, right.
And it just, that moment
It's
stuck
amazing.
with me forever.
Yeah.
Like, do you have a moment like that?
I don't really know. I don't know, man. Like, probably not. Like, they're all just moments, you know what I mean? Like, as far as, like, skating is gone for me, like, I'm the tortoise, Like, there's hares running around and doing their little tricks and having their little windows, and I'm just going to be skating. I'm going to keep going. Like,
Plodding along.
Yeah, I'm plodding along, man. I've been, I was skating when I was 12. I'm skating when I'm 47, I'm just out there doing it,
Ripping at 47.
Well, thanks, man. Like, I'm blushing over here. Like,
But there's a whole, I think there's a whole new era, a genre now of, it's like street skaters, vert skaters, bowl skaters, and
Yep.
then there's skaters ripping in their 40s. Like, are you a skater ripping in your 40s?
Yeah, yeah, and you get, I mean,
And
there's
50s.
sympathy points as well for skating in your 40s, you know what I mean? 'Cause
Do you reckon?
yeah, I think so. It's like,
Well, it's always backed up with like, oh my God, he's ripping in his 40s,
Yeah.
mid-40s.
yeah, well, the kids at
You
the
get that.
skate park, they're like, my mum's like not even 40. You know what I mean? It's like, you're older than my mum and my dad.
And
And
you
they look at
skate-
you, they look at their mum and dad, and they're at home like working a job and sitting on the couch and, you know, whatever, just not skating.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is insane. It's crazy. It's so sick.
And
So.
you're probably skating better than him.
Then their mum and dad, yeah, for sure.
No, but you're skating,
Yeah.
you're skating better than the kids, I reckon.
Ah, Shan, stop it, man.
No, but like I'm just saying, like, because I just think like what happens if you've looked after your body like you have, I just think that people, you can turn into a master of the game. Whereas like you skate smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you're more strategic about how you approach tricks. You break
Yeah.
things down.
Experience counts.
And all those years of like, you
Yeah.
know what's going to happen if you put yourself in this particular
Yeah, for sure.
situation.
For sure.
You
Yeah.
know, that's what I think's happened to some people who have avoided catastrophic injury or major injury.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Which it
never
seems
really.
like you have.
I try to avoid slamming too hard, for sure. Yeah,
Well, what's your
these days.
process like if you're battling a trick
Yeah,
and you know that there's potential for injury?
yeah.
What are you doing?
Just got to get that belief going first, you know, get the confidence and get the knowledge that I can do what I'm trying, you know, like get the foundations happening, you know what I mean, first. And I'm not just going to throw myself on something recklessly, you know, like I've never been that type of guy, you know. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to I feel like I'm ready for it, you know. And whether that takes years or you know, that's so be it.
Yeah, I'm just really believe that best years. There's still really good years ahead.
Yeah,
you know,
for
more,
sure.
more and more.
For
you know.
sure.
And I'm looking around your house, and you know, you've got the foot massager, you've got the massage gun, you've got the
Yeah,
foam
the
roller.
tools,
I
yeah.
mean, how much is that a part of your lifestyle?
Oh, it's crucial, man. It's crucial. Like I try and get some stretching in every day, and get the gun on the injuries. And man, you know, you have to. You know what I mean? Like at our age, you can't just jump on your board and go skating. It just doesn't work.
Yeah,
You got to loosen up, and you got to be prepared. And I've got I've got the skipping rope, and I've got do the yoga, and I try and eat well. And
do you?
yeah, I do try. You kind of, like I said, you have to, man. Like I wish I'd have known this when I was younger. You know, I would have. But I mean, you try. You're the same. You probably eat pretty well, and
Try to.
yeah.
Try
I
to.
gave up the drinking a while ago.
I was going to ask about
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Yeah, I
Is-
mean,
you
that's
think
just-
that's played a bit of a factor in terms of longevity?
It's played a factor in my enthusiasm for sure.
Has it?
Yeah, because I don't know, man. Like I'm a morning type as well, and if you've had a night out drinking, you're not that inspired.
No.
First thing in the morning, especially to get on a skateboard when your timing's a bit off and your confidence is a bit down and you're a bit lethargic, you know. So
Yeah.
no, it's definitely helped, and I don't know, man. It's just it wasn't serving me, you know. It's the same old story with everyone that's kind of gets to a certain age and the party's kind of over, you know. Like it's
I
time
wish I got it earlier.
Yeah.
To be honest, I feel like I did lose some years there.
Yeah, we all have. No regrets or whatever, you know. Like
Do you think like having a family was also an influence
For sure.
on that decision?
yeah. I got to be like a positive role model and inspiration for my daughter for sure.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm pretty aware of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So interesting.
yeah.
So you're in for the long game, bro.
That's what I mean, let's can you put a number on this? Like, I look at, we're going to be 50 in a few years, you know what I mean? Can we still skate at 50? Can we? Obviously we can, yeah. Because, I mean, I still feel pretty good, you know what I mean? I've got problems here and there, like everyone does. My ankles are shot and my lower back's sore and my neck's, like, got nerve problems. My knees are weak, but whatever, like, we'll get through it, you know what I mean? Like,
Chris Markovich just turned 51, and I just seen footage of him doing a kickflip frontside nose slide on a
I saw that.
on a hubber
Yeah.
at a skate park.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, yeah.
And he gave it away too. He thought he was done for, right? Like 10 years
10
ago. So
years.
he went through everyone goes through the same process. Like, they're like, oh, well, drinking's not really helping me. It's not serving my life. It's not doing me any favours. So
Yeah.
You know, you got to make your mind up whether you want to skate and be active or pile out on the couch and slowly die. Like, what's your choice?
Yeah,
What are you going to do? What do you do?
What do I do?
Yeah.
In regards to
that
longevity?
Yeah. You're going to carry on, or are you just going to like sit on the couch? Like, you're doing it, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Thanks, bro.
you skate, you get out there, you're active, you're healthy.
I just think there's really something to be said about you got to keep moving. Like,
yeah, man.
The second you stop, especially now, I think it's done.
You start dying, right?
Yeah, and like I do a thing too. Like there's days I get on my skateboard and I just feel like I can barely ollie.
Yeah.
You know, but I'll just sort of I won't put this pressure on myself to ollie then. I'm just going to roll around.
Exactly.
Until it feels good.
Pick your battles, man.
Pick your battles.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of what I was saying in regards to becoming a master is that you're just more strategic.
Yeah, you do know.
And I think there's less ego. And, you know, let's face it, you're not doing it for any other reason but for the love now.
Yeah.
Well, let's face it. Like when you were growing up, like in your younger years,
Yeah.
you were probably skating. I know you love skating, but there would have been an element of like, I want this to be something as well. Like,
yeah, kind of. Probably.
I want
maybe.
Even at the base level, you might have wanted some good footage or photos.
Yeah, for sure. But I hated the responsibility of it, I'll be honest. Yeah, I didn't like the fact that I sort of felt forced and responsible and having to do this and that for someone else, you know what I mean? Like, it was taken out of my hands in a way.
When did the responsibility come to you then? When did you feel that?
Well, when you start getting sponsors that expect things, ads and whatever, you know what I mean? They start, you get a bit of money here and there, like you get some travel allowance or some photo incentive. They want something in return. It's a transaction, you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, it just changes. It changes the dynamic of skating, you know what I mean? Do I say you know what I mean a lot? I just notice myself saying that.
Man, being on a podcast.
Do you notice the little quirks? Because I don't hear them, you know what I mean? I said it again. Okay, I've been saying this the whole time, haven't I?
Oh, bro.
You should have told me this.
Bro, this is part of being on a podcast. It'll highlight every little defect of your
All right,
ability to communicate.
Okay.
There was an episode I did a few weeks back, and for some fucking reason, I just kept saying the word insane. I was like, insane.
Yeah.
I listened back to it going, oh my God, if I say insane one more time, I'm going to go insane.
Can you edit out every time I say you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't even notice these things, do you? Till you're listening to yourself in your own head.
That's why I was talking to, I had a psychologist on here and I said, I think I want to start up a psychology practice where it's like podcast therapy, where I think there's a real power to listening to yourself in the third person.
Yep.
Because I think you pick up on these narratives. Not only do you pick up on your defects of communication and your tics, as you say, but you also pick up on narratives that you create and you say a lot without knowing you say.
Yep.
And for me, it highlighted a few things. I would continue with this narrative of like, I was this or I was that. And I'd listen to it back and go, you know what, that's actually not that true. You know, but because I'd said it so much over the years, I'd started to believe my own bullshit.
Yep.
And
I can see that.
It forces you to be honest.
Have you been a better conversationalist in general from doing this podcast?
I think so. I think you can't not be.
Yeah.
Especially when it's like you speak to a diverse range of people. But I think for me, I've always just been really interested in people.
Yeah.
Like
and have you separated yourself? I mean, when you got the headphones on and the microphone in front of you, like it's a different circumstance. You know what I mean? Have you adapted to like make that feel the same circumstance talking to someone? You know what I mean?
So what do you mean exactly? I think someone described these microphones as honesty sticks because what happens is it changes the context of a conversation. So you and I had a long conversation yesterday without being recorded. But now that you've got a microphone in front of you, everything you say, you become accountable for.
Yeah, you have to be more aware of what you say.
Yeah, and I actually think it's been really helpful. Like, you know, if I'm completely honest, you know, maybe this is a form of therapy for me.
Is this? Yeah.
And maybe you're part of my therapy.
Are you doing this for yourself, Shannon?
No.
No?
No, I'm not doing it for my kids.
You say that at the start of the episodes. I've heard that. Like, so what do you mean doing it for your kids? What do you want your kids to get out of it? Okay,
good question. It started for me, my cousin committed suicide about 7 or 8 years ago. And she was like my closest family member. We really related and haven't got a big family.
Sorry to hear that.
No, it's fine. And she left me a voice message on my phone.
Yep.
You know, and after she'd passed away, and I listened back to that voice message, and it was like she was speaking to me from the grave.
Yeah, right. So you hadn't heard it till after she'd died?
No, I'd heard it. I'd heard
Okay,
the message,
okay.
but then when she died, I was like, I was going through my messages, and I'm like, there's a message
Right.
from Emily.
Yep.
And I was like, oh wow. And then before you know, I just played that thing over and over, and I was like, I could hear her voice, and she's talking to me, even though she's passed away.
Was she talking to you like she knew she wasn't going to be around for much longer though? Or?
Look, it was a pretty like mundane message about something pretty average, like just nothing special. But I just had this moment of like, there's this power to recording these conversations, and like I learn so much from the people I speak to. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And I just really feel that one day, like, I'll have this thing that the children can, when they're adults, they can go back and listen to and learn along with me, or at the very least, maybe get to know Dad in another way.
Who's going to do your interview?
I don't think I'll ever be interviewed.
I'm going to turn the tables here.
You know what, to be honest,
a special guest, like interviewer, interviewing Shannon Ferrugia.
I can't handle it. It's, you know, you've asked me more questions than any other guest.
Yeah,
actually.
right. Well, I mean, you're just as interesting as your guest. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone's.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah. No, what is it?
Fuck, I'm squirming though. You notice that?
Why? Because the tables are turned.
Well, because when you're in my position interviewing people, you're in a position. There is a position of power.
Yeah,
there.
exactly. Yeah,
and
I'm
understanding it more.
Imbalanced now. Yeah,
and it's funny. I'm not that comfortable with it, but then I'm like.
Well, now you know how I felt. I was very apprehensive about doing this, as you know. Like, how long did it take to like since our first conversations of doing this? This is a year easily, right?
I don't know. It takes a lot of courage, but you don't seem nervous.
Well, I'm trying not to be.
Really?
Yeah, I'm trying, man. I don't know. I am nervous. I have been nervous the whole time.
Were you nervous that day? Because I've said this to you numerous times, and I loved it. It's a significant moment for me, and I think a significant moment for skateboarding in Australia, because the day you did the kickflip to fakie over the pimple at Curl Park.
Yep, I remember.
Just break that day down for us. Before you do, though, I want to put it in context, because I think it was a real critical stage. Like, we had one of the biggest pro tours come to the country when skateboarding was just blowing up again.
Yeah.
And it was like Australian skateboarders didn't know where they sat in terms of how good they were compared to American skaters.
Yeah.
And I feel like that day that at the start of that demo, when you did the kickflip to fakie over the pimple before, like, it was just a breakthrough moment. It's like, oh my God, you know.
Yeah, well, I was just being that annoying, like, hometown hero that day, you know. I feel bad about that for the pros or whatever, you know what I mean? But looking back, I do, you know what I mean? But at the time, I was like, I'm skating the local park. The pros are here. I want to skate with the pros, you know. They're like, you know, inspiring to me. So it was kind of like, you just want to be a part of it, you know, rather than just spectate. But man, I saw that same situation a few years earlier, like that with the Alva demo on the vert ramp. Mick Mulhall was skating. Did you see this demo?
Nah.
So the Alva dudes, like, you know, the Alva boys are just like these tough, like, dreadlocks and leather jackets and, like, you know, the cool guys or whatever. And Mulhall was skating the demo with them that day, and he burned them all. I mean, if I'm honest, like, he killed that demo. You know what I mean? It was like the Mick Mulhall demo.
Yeah.
So. And he's just the local dude, you know, like just out there skating and having a good time. And like you said, he really made it apparent that, like, these guys are just as good, if not better, than some of these guys we're supposed to be, like, bowing down to, you know, and, you know, admiring. Like, so I don't know, like, yeah, skating's always kind of been that playing field, you know, like pretty. And, you know, I don't know, it's a local park. But
well, I just think Australian skaters, because we are isolated compared to the rest of the world. We were, you know, before the internet. And we'd get the videos in the magazines, and we didn't really know how we fared compared to, you know, we had a few Australians go and make it in America, but few and far between, you know. Oh,
man, the amount of talent down here that went unnoticed because skateboarding was so isolated to California in those years was incredible, you know. Like, yeah.
But that day, I think it was a world demo And
Did you work out who was skating this demo or not?
Man,
I know Chris Markovich. We know
Chris
that.
Markovich was there, but I think it was like Kareem Campbell. And
Yeah.
I think Kareem Campbell was trying to kickflip to Fakey the Pimple as well, and you did it before him.
Shit, really? I don't. If I did that,
Or was
that's
that
even worse.
another demo?
I don't know.
If you're listening,
if I
and
did
you-
that,
and
that
you know-
sucks. I'm sorry, man. Honestly, that sucked.
No, but I'll just never forget because the demo was about to start, and it was like they cleared the park,
Yeah.
and it was like thousands of people there, and it was so quiet. And then you just came out of nowhere and kickflipped to Fakey the Pimple, and no one had. I mean, I don't know if you'd done it before.
Nah, that was definitely the first
But
time. Maybe the only time. I ever
No
did
one
it.
had
Yeah.
ever flipped over that. Oh, it was Rob Dyke.
You know what?
there?
Rob Dyrdek definitely did
Rob
it. Yeah,
Dyrdek was
yeah,
there.
Yeah.
And it was
that
like-
day he wasn't there, was he? No.
Fuck, it's all blending together.
I know,
If you're listening and you know the context
Yeah,
of this,
yeah.
please reach out
Yeah.
to me.
Because there was a bunch of demos within like a year, 18 months at that spot, you know, like so they're all blended into one now. Like as we were saying the other day, Tony Hawk was there skating the vert ramp. That definitely didn't happen. Gino did the nollie cab back tail. That was a different demo, man, for sure.
But I just remember you did it, and it was just straight away. Like, it was
Yeah.
just like the whole place was like, whoa.
Yeah, it was
And
nutty.
Then,
It was
And
nutty.
then it was just like, who the fuck was that?
Yeah.
It was like, that's Darren Kaehne. I'm like, and then throughout the whole crowd, it's like, Darren Kaehne. Like, it was like, boom.
Really?
That's from where I was.
It's amazing that someone's even like remembering that or talking about that.
Oh,
today.
I'll never
That's
forget
crazy.
it because I just was like, who the fuck was that? You know, and then from then on in, I was like, oh, that's, you know, I'm just.
Yeah,
you're on the
right.
radar.
Yeah.
At what
that
point-
footage is in plebs. Now that you mentioned, we were talking about plebs before.
Yeah.
That's in it.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
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 I'm going to watch that again.
Yeah, we should. We'll watch it after this. I'll chuck it on.
At what point did you ride for like Glenn Scott's Criminal Skateboards?
Yeah, like after Amnesia, there was a short period after Amnesia. I rode for this distributor distributing Evol boards.
Yep.
Remember Evol? It was what H Street sort of turned into. And I think they were like, oh yeah, like we'll give you boards, we'll give you wheels, we'll give you clothes, and Osiris was starting as well, or Evol shoes.
No way.
So I'm just like me, just being like, oh, what? Like all this gear. And Amnesia was just, boards and whatever. But I got a lesson in loyalty this day, this time. And I took the offer because I was like, it just sounded too good to refuse. And it just wasn't the same, man. It just kind of didn't have that, the team kind of aspect. And like, it was so like, it was just weird. It was just like, I'm just doing this just for product. And that didn't last long at all. So that fell through, and just straight after that, I think, Criminal, they just sort of like, be on the team. You're on. They just sort of told us I was on. You know what I mean? It's just
Glenn.
like, Glenn. Whatever Glenn says, you do it. Yeah.
the boss.
Yeah. So I know that lasted a while. That was cool. That was really, really cool. Yeah.
I mean, having a skate company in Australia back then would have been the hardest thing in the world to keep going. And he kept it going.
Yeah. Fisher took over for a while. Kerry.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was doing it for quite a while until it sort of fizzled out somewhere along the lines. I think at the end. I don't know. It's tough, man. It's a massive market. It's a flooded market.
For some reason, I thought you rode for Volcom as well, Australia.
Nah, never rode for Volcom.
No.
Did ride for SMP.
SMP club.
Yeah, which is a sort of a competitor. They're probably long gone these days. I don't know if they still exist in China or something, but
It's funny how that happens, hey?
yeah. I know there's an SMP skate park in Shanghai.
Is there?
Yeah, it's got the logo on there. I don't know if it's still around. I have no idea.
They bootleg the logo.
I think so.
How
I think so.
Interesting.
Yeah, Glenn will be able to tell you more about that. I don't know too much of the details.
SMP, smoke more pot.
Is that what it meant?
Well, I had a guest on here ages ago, episode in the early 20s episodes, and Ty Graham is a pro surfer for Billabong in Bali.
Yeah.
Legend. I love Ty. He's from Sydney, and he rode for SMP, the surf division, too.
Yeah.
And I asked him that, and he's like, I think it meant smoke more pot,
Probably did. Who knows? I know they did have a campaign where it said was sex, money, power.
Oh, yeah.
Which is so like, sex and money. It's so like, oh my God. This is corny.
It kind of popped off for a while.
It did. Yeah, despite that corniness.
Dude, how's the sunlight coming through the blinds there?
I think we're going to get a skating this afternoon, Shannon.
Dude, I hope so.
So do I.
Getting some photos of you.
Well,
Yeah, man. That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, I'm bummed we didn't get a skating before this, you know. Like,
Why?
you just, you know, your energy sort of changes after you have a skate. As you were saying before, it's like a therapy session, you know. And even if you have a bad skate, you still feel good,
Yeah.
you know.
What do you do for yourself when you're not having a good day in general?
Go for a skate. What do you,
Just go for a skate.
well, yeah, man, that's,
How do you
works for me.
how do you pull yourself out of a mental funk? Just go for a skate. What if that's not
It does
an option?
work, man. What if skating's not an option? Don't know, man. I don't know. I don't have to deal with that too often, dude. Like, look what I'm doing. Look where we live. Look what we got here. You know, I'm grateful, even for the bad moments. Like, I'm grateful.
Dude.
You know what I mean? You go to these spots, like you go to these countries over the other side of the world, and there's poverty everywhere, and there's nothing going on, and the people are so happy. It's like, what? How can you be so happy? You know, you got nothing, but it's like because they're not striving for anything more.
Fucking thank you.
You know what I mean?
I didn't expect you to say this kind of shit. Thank you.
So, yeah, people have the most riches are the ones not striving for possessions, or you know, like, or for more. You know, like we've had this conversation.
Where's your wife with that? Is she in the same sort of mindset?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like I said, we live a pretty cruisy life, pretty frugal. We're not lavish. We don't live you know, the high life. We just live in a good spot, and yeah, we try and live well, try and eat well, and try and.
How'd you meet your wife?
Just through mates and mates, basically. I think just probably at a pub one night, drinking too much. Like, oh, look at that chick, she's hot. Yeah, get chat with her.
How long have you been together?
She says this story. She goes, look, the thing that really impressed me about you was the fact that I go, where are you from? She's like, she's a Kiwi, and she goes, I'm from Mount Maunganui. Like thinking, like, oh, this guy's never heard of this joint. I'm like, oh yeah, I've been there. She's like, what? I'm like, yeah, I was there last year. Like, we did this, like, a skate tour over there with Andrew Curry and Jaffa, Scotty Shearer, and David Dare. And we stopped in that little town. I was like, yeah, I love that town. That's unreal. It's got the vert ramp there, right? She's like, what? She's like, oh, this guy's amazing.
What was the skate tour for? Just
don't know.
Mates going for a skate.
Yeah, just going for a skate. I think Curry and Adair, you know, like they wanted to do an article or whatever. It was pretty cool. Like, it was a good little crew though. Those guys are rad.
How much has travel been a part of your story?
Yeah, big part, man. I love it. Yeah, I love putting myself outside of my zone, as we all do. You know, like you'd know. You're a traveller.
I do like to travel.
Yeah, it's just cool.
Yeah. Do you travel as much as you can?
Oh man, like I like to. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, not in the past few years, not with COVID and whatnot. Definitely.
That sucked.
But we've been doing some trips out on the road, dude. We go to check little towns and little skate parks around the place and get the tent out and whatnot.
With the family?
They come sometimes. Yeah, not all the time. But like I said, if the missus and the daughter Nikota doesn't want to go, it's like, you go.
So you go solo?
Go solo. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't mind my own company.
Do you?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Don't get lonely?
Nah.
Don't miss the family?
Yeah, I do, for sure. But I mean, I like a bit of solitude, you know. I just find it relaxing, not having people around.
Balance you out?
I think so. I think it does. Yeah.
I think so.
It's like skating. You're in your own little space when you're skating, no matter who's around. You know what I mean? It's a very selfish kind of activity in a way.
Yeah. Skating is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it is selfish.
Yeah.
But I've discovered over the years there's another activity more selfish than skateboarding, and that's surfing.
Yep.
Surfing is the most selfish endeavour.
Yep.
And it takes so much time. It's very time consuming, you know.
It's hard work. It's rad though. Like when you're actually on that wave and like you're carving the open face of a wave, it's a pretty rad feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
But to get to that moment, it's not easy.
Yeah, I know. I asked you that yesterday. I was like, have you surfed much over the years? You know, considering you have grown up on the northern beaches.
Yeah.
Just never interested you that much?
Man, I've got a lot of respect for it, for sure. I love it. And I have done a little bit of surfing in my time, and I can sort of do it. But, yeah, I'm not really the surfy kind of dude, you know. I've got a board, though. You want to go surf after this?
I did.
There might be a wave.
Well, considering it's wet outside,
Yeah.
maybe it's our option.
The park will be dry, man. We're going to get a
The
skating.
sun's out.
Yeah.
Phew.
Yeah, that park dries quick too, like I said.
How you feeling in terms of the podcast? You feeling all right?
How long have we been going for?
Hour and a half.
An hour and a half. Is that how long do they normally go for?
There's no set time limit.
Does it feel like I've been interesting?
I was going to ask you, how do you feel like this is going?
I don't know. I think we're just rambling.
How do you
back
feel
and
like it's
forth.
going?
Oh man, hopefully it's going good. I don't know. It's hard
Is
to.
there something you've really got on
get
your
a
chest?
gauge on.
Is there something you've really got to get off your chest?
Not really. Nah, not really.
Dude.
I mean, there's probably a lot of anecdotal stories and whatnot, but I don't know. Like, do we really want to go do that? You know what I mean?
I mean, stories are good.
Stories are cool, but yeah, I don't know. I can't think of one straight off my top of my head. And like sometimes stories are best left in the past as well.
I think a lot of skaters define themselves by the past, especially if they were someone who was maybe significant
Yeah,
or good.
yeah.
What do you think of that?
That's like I don't know. Like, yeah, you're right. Like I was saying, the hare and the tortoise thing. Like some people have just been hares and they just had their little zone. Like they get their little 2-year window where they're actually incredible at skating and whatnot, and they define themselves by that little period.
Yeah.
That's not uncommon.
You don't seem like someone who rests on their laurels.
Try not to. Yeah.
You're not resting on the laurels of the kickflip over the pimple. You're
Not at all.
You're not still
No.
riding that high.
Nah, should be though. Like it
Fuck, you
was a
should
great
be.
moment. Yeah, for sure. No, I don't know. That was just another day on the skateboard. Like I said, I should be more embarrassed about that than anything. Just the fact that
Why?
just the hometown hero thing. Like, are you coming to
You
the
won
pros
up.
doing this demo and you like trying to
tra-
one up them? Like you're trying to one up them in
They
front of this.
travelled all that way, man,
Yeah.
and look what you did.
I wonder what they thought about it. You should have asked
Yeah.
Markovic.
Oh, you got kicked off that company straight after that. Did you hear about that?
What was that? Nah.
No, I'm just joking.
You should have asked him. I wonder if he remembers that. He'd go, that dude was a prick.
Maybe I could ask him.
Yeah.
I actually talked to him the other day online.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he's such a good dude.
Yeah, he's ripping still too. Good on him. for
But
doing
again,
that.
like for me, it's like he's in his 50s. I'm like, and again, because I do surf a fair bit, and I'm like, look at Kelly Slater. I'm like, dude, he's 50.
How old's he now?
I think he's about to turn 52, and he's still on the world tour. And he won Hawaii last year. He
Yeah,
won
right.
pipe. Like,
The Bells thing was on last week, right?
yeah,
How'd he go?
I think I didn't follow.
Don't know.
I think he got knocked out early. Yeah, so I mean, but just the fact he's still there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
like,
sick.
Wow.
Yeah. And surfing's obviously changed a lot since he's like
Yeah.
started or whatever. It's like,
How do you feel about surf culture?
man, like, yeah, good. It's cool. I mean, I don't know. Well, when you paddle out there, you're around a bunch of other surfers and no one's really like stoked that you're there. You know what I mean? They're just like, oh no, is it like no one says g'day, how you going? Like how's the day going? Like a sick wave back there. None of that's going on. So it's a bit weird.
It's fucking weird.
I mean, I'd love to just go surfing at a spot with no one. Like just catch as many, or a couple of people. So there's enough waves for everyone. Yeah, it doesn't exist. Yeah, but that'd be ideal.
Yeah, it's very hard to achieve.
Yeah.
Because I'm from a skate background and I didn't get into surfing till I was a bit later.
Yeah.
I just could never believe it. Like I'd paddle out in the morning and the sun's rising, it's beautiful, and I'm just so happy to be out in the ocean and catching waves. And I'd see other dudes and like I'd try to make eye contact, say good morning,
It's not happening.
and they just like would not even make eye contact. And I'm just like
They feel threatened by you.
threatened, and it's just like,
Yeah, you
how
gotta
can
take
you
that
not
wave.
appreciate this? Come
Yeah.
on, talk
Yeah.
to me, talk
Yeah.
to me. When really they're just looking at me like, don't look at me, kook, fucking you. We know you've only been surfing. I've been surfing twice as long. I can just tell.
Oh man, they're so important out there, aren't they?
It's bizarre.
They're believing in their own importance.
And I started doing it as a surfer myself to new surfers, and I'm
Yeah.
like, look, if you're really trying to be respectful and not I'm going to be nice to you, But if you're just being a kook, if you're being aggressive,
There's no room for niceties in the waves, Shan.
I know.
You got to learn that.
But imagine like you turn up to a skate park
Yeah.
and just like didn't acknowledge anyone and just rolled straight past. I don't know. it'd
That's
be
me. I
weird.
do that actually. I just go in there and go, I'm just going skating. I don't want to.
Is that
I don't want small talk here. I'm just gonna.
Don't you?
Oh, no, not all the time. Not all the
Come
time.
on, you do say hello
have.
to the crew.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
See the crew for sure. What do? You bump your fists these days? Like, you know.
It's COVID safe.
I've gone through a bunch of different variations of the greeting, the handshake greeting in my time as well.
Have you?
Yeah.
How's it evolved?
Well, you know, you used to shake someone's hand and then, like, you did a bit of a high five for a minute, and then they do the fist bump. And my favourite one is when they go with the fist, you just, like,
you palm them.
Grab it like a potato and just shake it. And it's like, what's going on here?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just like, man, I don't want any awkward handshakes here. I don't know what you're going to do. If you're going to shake it, or you're going to slap it, or you're going to fist bump me, or whatever the hell you're going to do. Like,
I'll never forget I did that with years ago, early 90s, Glenn Scott. If he wouldn't even remember this. But I mean, I've always looked up to Glenn because I remember seeing him skate Fairfield Mini. Yeah. And he just was ripping, and I was a little kid, and he's older than me, and I'll never forget. And then as the years progressed, I was like, I just used to love Glenn. And also because I know his brother Hank.
He's a big cuddly teddy bear in a way too,
yeah,
isn't he?
yeah.
Like,
and also Hank, his older brother, was just such a mentor to me as a kid because he grew up in the same area and he was around and he looked after me a lot. And I remember once after I did a trick skating somewhere and he was stoked and he came up to give me like a five, not a high five,
yeah,
like just a low five, and he was
yeah.
going to grab my hand.
Yeah.
He put his hand up like sideways.
Yeah.
And so instead of like just putting my hand out,
yeah.
I try to get up under it.
Oh wow,
and,
like backhand.
And give it an up under from the bottom high five.
Yeah, right.
And he kind of just went. He just looked at me like,
that's what I'm talking
so
about.
disappointed in me. I was like,
awkward handshakes.
All these years later, I remember.
I hope he remembers that.
He won't.
Imagine he did.
He's too. He just would have just shook his head and went, "Oh fuck, man, that's awkward."
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what happens when you go through these iterations of greetings and handshakes and whatever. I don't know what you guys are doing these days.
I don't know what they're doing.
You know what I mean? Like,
but you know what you said? You grab their fist if someone tries. Yeah, see, I hate
joke.
I think it's aggressive when people do that.
Grab it.
Yeah.
Oh man,
it's kind of like
I'm not
connected. I'm not broing down. Yeah. That's what it says. It says nah, fuck off.
it's not. I'm not trying to be like that, man. I'm not trying to do that. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, that's
Who do you skate with most these days?
Myself, basically.
Bullshit.
I do, man.
What about like? Isn't like that guy Peanut one of your homies?
Peanut's kind of a homie. He lives like way over the other side of town. I hardly ever see that
when
dude.
You say way over, like the other end of the northern beaches?
No, like Clovelly.
Oh, right.
Eastern suburbs, man. Okay. Yeah, I hardly ever see Peanut at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But the last 2 trips I've done to Canberra, we've been on that same trip, so that's why you probably think that. I mean, I love Peanut. I've known him for a long, long time, for sure. But, I don't know. We don't skate too often. Okay. Like, I get up early. I skate early. On a weekend, I'll be up at 7 o'clock.
By yourself?
Go down there by myself.
You don't set up like your camera on your phone and film clips of yourself?
I have done. Try not to do it too much.
Why not?
I don't know, man. Do you really need to captivate everything you do? You know, like.
Well, I regret not documenting more. I mean, granted, we didn't have access to cameras like we do now, and same with, like whether it's film or video. But yeah, like I really feel like we should have been. There was times when we should have been filming and we weren't. Yeah,
we didn't have the option, back in the day. Like not everyone had a video camera in their back pocket. You know what I mean? So a lot of the best stuff probably never got documented for sure. And now, what are you making up for the lost time and document like?
I think so.
Yeah,
but it's kind of pathetic.
Man, like some of the kids these days, they just film everything, and like just learning tricks. And it's like, you know what? It's cool that you're doing the trick or whatever, but you've got a long way to go to develop that. You know what I mean? You could do this a lot better. Now we're already seeing your secret. The secret's out. You've learnt the trick. You know what I mean? Like, it just make it look good.
Yeah.
It's an aesthetic.
It's an aesthetic, thank you. And I think there's so much more to it than just the trick. It's the composition of what's in the background or the lighting.
That's skate park footage is like, oh my God, I want to see another bloody skate park clip. But
listen, I'm in a funny place with you right now because I need to piss, and it's kind of like, do I pause it or do I
go on,
or do we end it?
What do you want to do? How do you feel?
Pausing it.
All right.
Yeah. Back from the piss.
Yeah.
I forget what we were talking about before that. Do you remember?
Well, I don't remember, man. But yeah.
Anyway.
We don't want to go on this alcohol thing, obviously, because it's been done to death, as we mentioned.
Yeah, we were just talking about, just the.
I got something for you.
Okay, go.
One of the first times I remember maybe meeting you.
Okay.
Probably not. Probably met you before that, but we're on the Gold Coast at the Nexus.
Oh,
Remember this Nexus thing? Was it the one that Jeff Rowley was there? Like absolutely killing it. Like he was ripping, right?
Costin was there.
Costin was
Rick
there.
Howard.
Yeah, it was a
I
bunch
can't
of
believe
dudes
you
there.
remember this story. I know where you're going.
I was there. I was at the thing, and bloody Cam, you, and Del Vecchio rocked up to the demo in board shorts.
Yes.
I'm like, what the hell are you guys doing? Like, where's you? Put some clothes on, dude. Like, just shorts, no t-shirt, no nothing, just board. I'm like, what's going on? What are you doing? They're like, yeah, we're at the beach. Came back from the beach, and our car's gone. Car's stolen from the main beach at Surfers Paradise. I'm like, what?
With all
They're
our
like,
shit.
everything's gone. All our wallet, our boards, our clothes, everything was in that car. I'm just
Video
like,
camera.
oh my God, that is a scenario. You're stuck on the Gold Coast with this situation. What happened?
It was the start of the Easter weekend. So
This is it. It's not funny. I shouldn't be laughing because I was like, man, I can't imagine being in that situation.
in hindsight, it was just one of the worst/best things. Yeah, just like we went for a swim, come back, the car's gone, everything. And we all left our wallets in the car.
Yeah, of course, as you do.
And shoes.
Yep.
And I think we might have had a towel between us.
How'd you even get to the demo?
Well, we rang Koala,
Yeah.
the team manager for Koala.
Who's that?
Oh, God. No.
Not Darrow?
Darrow. No, it was Andy
Andy
McKenzie.
Derrick.
No, Andy Derrick, yeah. It was
No
Andy Derrick because it was
way.
Andy
Yeah, yeah.
McKenzie and then there was Andy Derrick.
Andy
wasn't
Derrick.
it?
Andy Derrick was
Yeah, he was the
team
best
manager.
dude. The best
Yeah, and I
dude.
spoke to him yesterday.
Bullshit.
Yeah, he's around, lives in
He's still
DY.
friends with it. No way.
Yeah, he does Soltech, distributes like America
Does he?
and
He was the
Yeah.
nicest dude.
yeah, he's a legend. Yeah.
From memory, he used to smoke a lot of pop.
Yeah, probably.
So
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure. Anyway,
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there was a
know
lot
that-
of that going on around in the day.
That back in the 90s
Yeah.
was standard. But
But yeah, he plays his shoes every now and again. Like I've
Does
been
he?
fortunate enough to be sample size shoes, so that's one of my
yes, dude.
luckiest gifts in life.
Free shoes.
I did pretty
So,
well with,
what,
with that. Yeah.
Etnies, America.
I've been running the Americas. Yeah,
No way.
yeah, I love them.
Free Americas.
Yeah, I mean, I chuck in money every now and again. I don't expect free stuff. I mean, I don't deserve free shoes, but he, like I said, he's got the samples, and I'm that size, and I'll
You've got
I'll
such
help
a
him
good
out.
You've got such
Yeah.
a good attitude.
I've got money. I'll give him money. It's fine. Yeah,
Dude, you're kind of not what I expected.
really.
You're kind of like real humble.
Do I give across a different facade?
Yeah, I thought you were just going to be one of those like real
at this
arrogant
tough shell.
Sydney skater types.
Yeah, it's an arsehole.
You're not an arsehole.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
anyway, so Darrow, you get Darrow on the phone.
Yeah, so we had to go to the police station.
Yeah.
Report it, and then we're just like, what the fuck do we do? And then he came and picked us up, and then we get to this demo because I had to skate. I was in it.
No way.
And I'll never forget Barry Strawn. Remember Barry Strawn?
Of
from
course, I
Wollongong?
remember Barry
He
Strong.
ga-
I saw him like the other day as well.
He
He's a
gave
camera.
me a pair of he gave me his shoes, like Vans old schools.
Yeah.
No socks, and I had my boardies,
Yeah.
no shirt.
Yeah.
And then he gave me his skateboard.
Rad.
And I'm like, well, should I still go in the comp? And he's like, fuck yeah, just go in it. Use
Yeah.
my shit. And took his shoes off.
Yeah.
They were like 2 sizes too big for me. And his board, which was just not my board. And I just tried to
dirt.
go in it. And I think I just rolled around and just did like a boneless or something. Because I was so bummed because like back then it was like you wanted to try and do well in comps.
Yeah. But
Couldn't believe it. So I still just went in it. And then I'll never forget.
The energy's off, obviously, having all your livelihood stolen in
we
front of
just
you.
had no idea what we're going to do. And then I'll never forget. And then Adam Lingard, I'll never forget this from Wollongong.
Yeah.
Just like, we're all just sitting there going, what do we do? And he just gave me $20. He's like, go and buy some chips or something for everyone. I did. I
Yeah.
bought everyone a big thing of chips. We sat there in the cafeteria at Nexus going, what the fuck are we going to do?
Yeah.
And then Koala were just the biggest legends, took us to their warehouse and hooked
Yep.
us and just decked us all out with brand new boards, clothes. I think they even gave it all to us. Like,
Yeah, right.
And so next thing I know, I went from having nothing to having like the latest DCs, a sick new setup.
Yeah, right.
Everything.
Yeah, that'll put a smile on your face.
And then we could, because it was the long weekend of Easter, it wasn't like these days where you could just get a new card reissued over the phone or whatever. You
Yeah.
had to go into a branch. We couldn't do any of that.
yeah.
And we just had nothing for like the whole weekend.
So this is your car?
It was my car.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't even my car. It was like my dad's.
No way.
My dad's new wife's car.
No way.
You know.
Just borrow it for the week. And
borrowed it for the
oh my
weekend, you know,
God.
and just gone. But and it just turned out to be the best time in a few different ways. And
Yeah.
like I remember, like I'll never forget Julian. It was the best. We were partying one night, that night of it, and we'd lost everything. And someone had given Julian some weed, and he's smoking a bong, and he's like, I'll never forget. He's like, "Well, at least I've still got me lungs."
What a legend! Yeah, sick. Yeah.
And yeah,
that's looking on the bright side.
We partied. There was actually, and then there was one negative incident that happened partying, but I don't want to talk about it on here because you know the guy, and we can talk about it after. But then I'll never forget, like all we could do was skate. And I remember I was skating at Paddington Skate Park in Brisbane, and Moses Akonen and Colin McKay turned up with Lance Dawes from Slap.
Yep.
And I was just skating, and I was never a great skater. I just was trying, but I was just loving it. And I'll never forget, I'm sitting there sweating. Lance Dawes comes up to me and goes, "Hey man, I want to shoot some photos of you for Slap. Come and skate with it." I'm like, and like all the boys were sitting there like. I just played a cool, like, yeah, man. And then, like, Cameron and Julian were like, "No way, Lance Dawes wants to shoot photos with you." I'm like,
right.
What the fuck? So I started skating the mini, and he started shooting some photos of me on the mini ramp. And then we went to this other skate park. It was like Toombul or something.
Yeah, I think that was a skate park.
And I remember I did a frontside heel flip over this hip, and he had a fisheye, and it was right on dusk. And it was just the sickest photo. And and it was and he put in Slap.
Really?
And I got a photo in Slap. It was like a half page, and it was like for
half
me.
page.
Huh.
Sick.
And
Have you
for
still got
me-
the mag?
Oh, dude.
Of course you got it. You got it framed, laminated.
My mum's got it.
Yeah.
But I was like, I used to love Slap Mag as well.
Yeah, it's sick. Yeah.
And I couldn't believe it.
That's awesome, man. That's really.
That was like my claim.
Yeah.
And then it was
That's your pivotal moment in skating.
well, that one and another good one was Mike O'Mealy shot a photo of me at Ulladulla doing a frontside lean over the big hip.
Man, I think I can picture this photo.
Yeah, and it was like and they put it in the Slam photo annual, and it was amazing photo because like the park had just opened and there was no graffiti. It was super white. There was a crowd there, and he stood on a milk crate and he used a fisheye, and so I did it, and I got right up in the lens.
Yeah,
and it looked super high, and it was Mike O'Mealy.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
and like so, I used to really.
He's back around again as well. He's
Sydney.
in town. Yeah, I saw him a couple of weeks ago as well.
Oh, dude, I'd love to get him on.
Yeah.
I'd love to get him on the podcast, actually. But
yeah, you should. That'd be a good one.
I wonder
man,
if he'd be up for it.
I'm sure he would, man. I'm sure he would. Yeah.
I feel like I'm talking too much now.
I'll give you his details.
Sure.
Are you in contact with him?
No, I don't really know him that well. No, except for that sort of moment. And, you know, seen him around over the years. But I remember it was so nice to me. I remember one night I was in the city, I was out partying and walked out of this nightclub, and there's him, Lance Dawes, and a few other people, and Mike Emily. I was like, and he see me, and I was talking to him. He's like, "Hey, Lance, remember you shot photos of this kid?"
Sick.
And I'm all wasted. I'm like,
Yeah.
And he had a really good memory like that. I'll never forget that.
Yeah, he's really authentic, Mike, for sure. Yeah, he put us up at his house a couple of times in Hollywood back there. Well, he's just he's one of the good dudes, man, as you know.
Have you kept all your skate photos from every magazine you've been in?
Oh, man, I sort of was doing it. I was trying, and then just sort of, I got lazy, I think. And so I've got a lot of them, but, definitely not all of them. Yeah. Unfortunately, it would have been nice to look back on a few of those things now, but that was the time period as well. Like, everything was a bit more tangible back in those days. It wasn't like the internet where you can just look it up and it's there forever. It's like, it's fleeting, you know. Like, it's like this podcast as well. Is this going to last for eternity? You know what I mean? Like an interview in a skate mag or whatever, like that's 1 month. Yeah. That's kind of daunting in a way as well.
It is daunting.
Daunting, but I don't know.
But I think it becomes a legacy item.
Yeah.
You know, is it something you'll show your daughter?
Yeah, well, if I said anything worthwhile enough, have I? Probably not.
No, but I'm talking the skate photos.
Okay. Yeah, I guess, man. You know what? Yeah.
Have you ever showed her?
I don't think so, man. Like, it's not. That's Dad's like skating. I'm just like, you want to come skate? Oh, every time I go to the park, I'm like, I'm going to the skate park. You want to come? She's like, no, Dad. Like, no, not interested.
That's one of those old man dad activities.
It's like, cool. Yeah, exactly. It's like an old man thing now. It's what dads do. Like, I'm doing the cool stuff back here, you know. I'm drawing and writing little books and, things, short stories and whatnot, and creating back here. Like, I'm cool.
Dude, you're interesting. Like, in terms of like how non-attached you are to the past.
Yeah, right.
I thought you'd be more attached to it.
Yeah, I don't know. Should I be? Like, the past is, I don't know, man. It's weird looking back. Like, there's so much to look forward to. Do you get that notion as well?
So you're projecting into the future more than you are living in the past? Is that a fair assumption?
Man, probably. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Honestly, you'd like to think you're living for the moment, wouldn't you? But yeah, it's just not. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's a good question.
I feel like you're very present, sort of.
Trying, man. Trying.
You got a very calming energy about you. Has anyone ever said that?
No.
Interesting.
Maybe they have. I'm not too sure. Yeah, not to my face. That's for sure. I don't think.
I'm telling you to your face.
Yeah, thanks, man. Like, it's the first time I ever heard that.
It's interesting.
I'm gonna take that on board.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take note of that.
I don't know, man. You've been kind of tough to interview. Like just aggressive.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't get blood from a stone, they say.
No, it's been just really nice to connect with you.
Thanks, man. And thanks for thinking of us to do this in the first place, dude. That's pretty, I'm very humbled by that.
But to sort of wrap it up, man, from my perspective, and I know a lot of other people feel similar, I just feel like in terms of Australian skateboarding, I think you've just been a bit of a staple, especially the Sydney scene, and I also think that you're kind of like the skater.
Thanks, dude. Like I said, there's nothing more to it than just actually really authentically loving skating, man. That's all it is. I love it.
You don't want any more from it.
Doesn't what do you want from skating? It doesn't owe you anything.
Yes.
Does it? Doesn't owe you nothing. But what did Jake Phelps say? What owes you will bite in the rain. That's what skateboarding owes you. You know what I mean? That's a sick quote.
It is.
Doesn't owe you shit.
It doesn't owe you shit.
Yeah, you owe it. You owe skateboarding.
Yes.
That's a fact.
But what a gift to have.
It is. It's an amazing gift, man. I don't take it for granted. I'm very thankful that we're healthy enough to be able to do it at all, because...
what's next for you? Continuing, or where do you see yourself in the future?
Don't know. Don't make future plans too sturdily. I'm just living here, man. Like, it's cool what we got going on here. We've got a job. We got this place. We got the skate park down the road. Things are going pretty good. Like, if you start looking around for too much, the grass isn't always necessarily greener, as you probably know. So, bit of gratitude in life, man. That's all we're kind of going for.
Where's this come from?
The what? Gratitude?
No, just this attitude to life. Not striving, gratitude. What's it born from?
It's probably from... Don't know, man. It's probably from trying to... we've been around a long time. We're old, aren't we? 47 years old. If you haven't figured out a few things by our age, you're doing it wrong.
I think it's wisdom.
Probably.
I think so.
If you're saying I'm wise, Shannon, I'll take that on board.
I feel it. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Listen, it's been epic. And I ask...
Yeah, it's been really cool.
I ask all guests to come to the podcast with a cause they want to support or advocate for. What do you got for us?
Motor neurons disease.
Okay.
Let's raise some awareness for that. I got a good mate of mine, a work colleague that kind of got diagnosed with that a few years ago, and it's pretty sad the way he's kind of like been affected by it. So that's the cause I want to sort of raise awareness for, and hopefully, because there's no cure. I don't know if you know much about it, but it's a debilitating and very, very sad disease. So we can figure out the Motor Neurons Disease Society or charity or fund or whatever. That's what I advocate for.
I'll find an organisation and I'll put a link to it in this episode's show notes.
Yeah, that'd be great.
It's a real reminder that you never know what people are going through.
Man, it's just another reminder that life is short, dude. Look, the whole thing's fleeting. You know what I mean? Like this guy is sort of in his prime, like in his mid-50s, kind of on the verge of thinking about sort of retiring and seeing his best years out, like after his career's gone and he's been diagnosed with this. Like, he used to be super active and, physical and play golf, and he was playing soccer, and he was, like, very fit, and he wasn't, like, didn't have a bad diet or didn't drink too much or didn't have, like, any, like, bad habits necessarily, and this is just, like, it's just the cards he got dealt. Yeah. It's super sad and unfortunate, so.
Yeah.
Life's short, man.
It is, bro.
Yeah, even if you get a full run, life's short. You speak to the old people, like, like in their 70s, 80s, and they'll tell you, like, it was a short, quick ride when you look back.
It really is. And, the biggest thing I'm learning in our wisdom is that time is finite. It's a finite resource, and I know it's cliche and everyone understands the concept, but I don't think they really think about how fucking valuable it is.
Yeah. Not many people live with that in mind,
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm discovering about you. You just seem quite conscious of the bigger picture of this experience that we're having.
I'm trying, man. I'm learning every day, as we should, We're always evolving, so.
You mentioned that you do, yoga, and you said that you do hot room yoga as well.
Yeah.
What are you learning from that experience?
Man, I'm learning, like, it's hot as hell in there. I sweat my ass off. But no, it's just great, dude. Like, you're super nimble in there. Like, you're very flexible, and like, I'm just learning where my limits are. And what else I'm learning is that my skeleton is off center, as all of ours are. But I'm starting to realize it's because my stance on a skateboard, because you're standing sideways and you're looking forward.
Yeah.
So all my postures are leaning in that direction.
Yeah.
To the left.
Yeah.
I'm regular foot. So I've been consciously trying to sort of get my skeleton back onto the other side, so that I'm not very good at skating switch.
Interesting.
I mean, I can do it, but I always look like I'm going backwards. You know what I mean? So, because I've never had that torso, the skeleton that can
ambidextrous sort of look. Yeah.
You know what I mean? To look that way. So, yeah, I'm learning when I'm on my knees. Doing those child poses and whatever. I'm always like, this way is a lot more flexed than the other side. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, yoga's taught me heaps too about my body, like where my strengths are, where my weaknesses are.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't really know, it's like, I'm tight on this side, but I'm not tight on that side. Hey, out
You
of
find that
curiosity, like you said, you're a regular foot, so have you ever had any knee issues with your left knee?
No, not really. They're more with my right knee for some reason. Yeah, I always wear one of those little wetsuit brace things on my right knee just to warm up the joint.
Okay.
But no, I don't. Why do you ask that?
Just because, I just have always had a niggling left knee, and I just think it's because of the pressure that you're putting on that knee when you're pushing.
Yeah.
Even when let's say I do a frontside 180 ollie, I land on my front foot, which is my left knee. I do a backside 180, I always land nose heavy, and you're pressing down on that. It's where you kick flip, it's where you heel flip, and I just feel like that's where the wear and tear is happening for me.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, I didn't notice that at all. I mean, I do have really bad ankles. I should probably have ankle surgery on both sides, but I wear those braces and I need them. I've been wearing them every day for the last, 7 years at least.
Yeah, wow.
And I've actually rolled my ankle in the braces and still done enough damage to actually be off the board for a week at a time.
Really?
If I didn't have mine, I would have been out for months.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they're that bad.
Damn, dude.
But you do what you do to maintain, Like every time you do roll your ankle badly, you probably put back 6 months. You know what I mean? 2 months to recover.
Yeah.
2 months to get your confidence and your timing back.
Yeah.
Another 2 months to start doing the tricks that you used to be able to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just I don't want to be put back. It's the time's finite.
Yeah.
We can't afford to waste these 6 months.
Yeah. But when you were younger, let's say you're battling a trick, you would just battle it until you either landed it or you broke yourself, right?
Yeah, I'm stubborn, man. I'm really stubborn.
Are you still like that now? Because my mindset's changed. I'm I'm battling, and I'm like, I know I get to a point where it's like, if I don't land it soon, I'm going to just injure myself. So
yeah.
I
That
was
was
like,
before. You pick your battles, don't you?
you pick your battles. It's not going to happen today. It's not going to happen today.
Yeah, just be prepared for what you're in for. That's the bottom line. If you're gonna learn a new trick, like take the you got to walk before you run.
Yes.
Cliches, all hell, isn't it? But it's true.
Cliches
It's
for
true.
a reason.
Yeah.
Man. All right, bro. Well, the sun's out. Let's
go skate.
Yes, man. So, Mr. Darren Kaehne, everyone, skater.